Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to the channel, man. Welcome back to Saeed TV. We are live for the Mandem talk. You already know what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? To Wednesday, 5 o'clock-ish. You know what I mean? Obviously, the Mandem will be pulling up soon. Musa Faz, you know, Nuruddin and the Mandem will be joining us, so don't worry. You know what I mean? The unqualified crew are still not around. You know what I'm saying to you? You know what I mean? Them man call us the Biryani bandits, Biryani pundits. But the unqualified crew are not here, man. You know what I'm saying to you? They're still researching right now. I know what Musa's doing. They're researching. They're trying to find some evidence, but we're here, man. You know what I mean? We're here. So big up to everyone. Big up to everyone locked in. Smash a like on the video. Rance, what are you saying, bro? You blessed?
All good, my bro, man. Big up the chat, man. Big up the panel as well. Should be a sick show.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. Danny, already people compliment the trim, man. I can't lie, that's the best trim you've had, you know.
Stop it, man. Stop it, man.
That's honestly, did you change your barber?
Do you know what's mad as well? My hair grows too quickly. I got this on a week ago, bro. Fade's already gone.
To be fair, that's a week. It's not too bad though. Was it a 0 though?
Yeah, bros. High skin fade. Skin.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No.
Looks, I've had better trims, man. Allow it.
Yeah.
Where's Faz?
Big up, man.
Where's Faz? Let me see his trim.
Faz, I don't know, man. Faz is, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't know where he is. He's coming. He's on his way, he said. Big up to Faz. Marcel's in the building as well. Big up to Marcel. You know what I mean? He's going to be locked in soon. You know, them ones there. So, yeah, man. Big up to everyone locked in. But listen, man, we have to get with the latest news, and that is regarding Liam Delap, man. And that is that he is going to be Manchester United's first or main striker target this summer. The suggestion is that United want to complete the deals to sign Matheus Cunha and Delap in the early transfer window, even before any sales have been made. So the two signings of Cunha would be, I think, 63 million, I think it is, or something like that. And then obviously Delap would be for what, 30 million. So combined 90 million odd. And the one with Cunha, they could be paid in installments as well. So doesn't necessarily mean that we pay the summer fee all together. You feel me? Shout out to Texino in the building as well, man. Danny, I'll start with you, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Like, is that as best you're gonna get a judge or a duo right there for the combined fee? Normally, United would be getting this for 200 million. You feel me? Like, we'd be getting shagged there, but they're not actually that bad for the combined fee.
That's not true. If we targeted somebody with a release clause that wanted to come to Man United, the previous regimes could do these deals. But when you package it like that, I can't complain.
Yeah,
I can't complain. That's just me being negative, bro. Like, my personal preference is Osimhen. I would prefer we get Cunha and Mbeumo, and then because I feel like it's pretty obvious we could probably do that with our budget without selling. And then I would sell a Højlund to go get an Osimhen. That would be my preference. But when I look at what they're doing, I just analyze it objectively, put my preference to the side. Bro, I can't complain. £30 million for a 22-year-old striker who's just come to the league and bagged 12 goals, will probably finish on more goals. Good business. Can't call it bad business. And Cunha, yeah, bro, I like that signing. I didn't think anyone else had it in them. Obviously, it's not over the line. But yeah, bro, if they do that, I'd rate that signing. So yeah, bro, can't complain.
Yeah,
I can't be negative. I can't be negative about these moves, bro. I can't be negative about these moves.
Yeah, 100%. I think obviously we were talking about a Rance's show. I think ultimately you have to understand what the player brings to your whole team, innit? And don't get me wrong, Osimhen gives you goals, yeah, but it's the whole package for me. Like, I believe there's longevity in the Delap signing. I think there's a greater need for a kind of Delap type signing as well. What it can provide for the team, I think it suits to what we're trying to build right now. You know what I mean? I really do. Don't get me wrong, Osimhen can score you goals, but I've seen a look.
Look, the only apprehension I have is I don't know Delap's ceiling. I don't want to speculate on his ceiling. Right?
I think it's a high ceiling.
But the player he is now, today, is nowhere near the level that I think Osimhen is and would display at Man United. Because that guy is he's just a fucking animal. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So like I said, we spoke about this, I think, last week or the week before. Delap will have to get better if he joins Man United. The guy you've seen at Ipswich won't be good enough. He has to get better when he arrives here. And if he does that, bro, yeah. I hope it goes that way. I hope it goes that way, bro. That's all I would say in it when you're comparing him and Osimhen. Please understand, Osimhen's at a certain echelon. He's at a certain. Oh, I think that's I don't know who that is.
Marcel.
Yeah, Osimhen right now is at a certain. He's already in his prime.
Yeah.
You want to get Delap and get him to his prime. All I'm saying is it's not the same combo. That's all. That's it.
Is it still there?
Rance, your mic's not on.
Is the noise still there?
That's gone now. It's gone.
What it is for me is, you need to look at profiles. You need to look at synergy. Yeah, like Osimhen is just a pure goal scorer. So if I've got creative tens with Osimhen, I don't have an issue. My issue is Cunha is definitely a shoot first number 10. He is, bro. This guy shoots from everywhere. He's a maniac. You know what I mean? If you get him and you get Osimhen and, like you said, Mbeumo, on paper, that's a lot of goals. But we lose the cohesion, the synergy, the creativity. We don't have that with that front three. And this is why, for me, I like Delap with Cunha, because Cunha is going to see Delap and shoot, blood. You know what it was? Like, he's going to do that. You're going to see him and shoot. Like, man, know that. We know we're going to do. He's going to do that. You know what I mean? So if you've got Cunha there and then also Osimhen, like, do you see what I'm saying? That means that right-sided 10 has to be super, super selfless, because he's got two men that ain't going to pass to. So I'm just looking at the balance.
Not necessarily. Who's the creative player in Liverpool's front three?
They play a different system, though. That's
Salah's creative.
Yeah, but here's the caveat, yeah, and I think you might agree with this. Funny enough, Rance. I don't want these players for Amarin.
I agree. Me neither.
I want these players in general. I want them for me.
I hear it. I don't
want them for Man United Football Club, bro. So obviously, if I wanted to be nasty with it, I can imagine a world, Rance, and I'm sure you could, because you've got the football knowledge to do it. Yeah. Where me and you can construct a team quite easily for that front three that has creativity, bro. With a different midfield and proper you know what I'm saying? To proper fullbacks. Well, so I get what 100%. You're saying for the reality of the situation, but please understand, my motivations are very, very different, bro.
I hear it.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear it. I hear it. I was saying that to Saeed. I was saying, bro, if he don't win this European Cup, he's got 5 games in the next season to save his job, But then we're back to square one, where we're sacking managers in the middle of the season.
Square one with the players I mentioned, I don't mind.
It's all right. I hear it. 100%.
No, I hear that, me. Like, you always got to buy for the club, innit? Regardless, like, we've been here before. Like, we're in this mess because we bought players for Ten Hag. Do you know what I mean? Like, we look at these players like Højlund and these players here that have come in for the football club, like Anthony and them, man. You know what I mean? These guys have come in because the manager has basically wanted them. So we need to move away from that. But the profiles we have been linked with right now, I really, really like them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Osimhen did come, no one's complaining. That's the misconception here, that people think it's one or the other. We're just looking at the sort of profile that would fit into this team, that knows the Premier League, that can adapt easier. You know what I mean? And like I said to you, will provide more than just goals. You feel me? You're not looking at his first touch. You're not looking at the fact that he can't link up play with. You know what I mean? And also, it isn't like a Højlund. It isn't like, we're not talking about a player that just jumped from one place to another without bridging the gap. This guy has literally bridged the gap from the Championship, toughest league for me in world football. Honestly, I genuinely mean that. Championship is so difficult, and then you go there, you make your way up, you go into the Premier League, and you go in a team like Ipswich, and you really, really...
Can you check what he did in the Championship, please?
He did well, in the Championship.
No, just to refresh my memory, bro.
Yeah, 1 second. I think he got like 11 goals for Hull City. Let me just check 1 second.
Yeah, because I didn't know he's from City's Academy, number one.
Yeah, he's City's Academy, yeah.
I didn't know. I only found this out the other day. His dad sent him to Stoke. Pick up his dad and sent him to Stoke City and that. And Preston, I think, was the other one.
Yeah, Preston. He didn't do well at Preston, to be fair. He did. He scored 11 goals for for Hull City in all competitions.
At what age as well? Because he's young now.
Yeah, probably.
Bro, he was what, 21, 20
No,
actually.
'cause
He's 22 now or something.
Yeah, he
Yes,
could have been
he was
21.
20.
He's
So
probably
that means he would
19,
have been
bro.
like 2019. He's
Like,
19.
Yeah, oh yeah, 2019. Yeah,
Like, he would have been
20 or
19.
yeah.
Brother, listen, yeah, Harry Kane, bro, listen, this is giving me Harry Kane vibes, bro. I'm telling you, Harry Kane went out on loan to a few teams as well, young, and he didn't really mash work, but bro, he got the experience of getting kicked around. You know them ones, like, bro, if you're 19, 20 years old and you're playing in the football league, bro, that's real education, bro. I'll be honest, that's better than doing what Cheeto's doing right now. Sitting at Man United, not getting no minutes. Like, this is what it is, bro. Man can laugh. Man can laugh, yeah. Man can laugh and say, "Oh, Harry Kane, LOL." But Harry Kane went out on loans, yeah, and he didn't set the world alight, bro. He didn't.
He was that. Harry Kane was that.
Yeah,
I'll tell you all the clubs Harry Kane was
so
that.
he bagged. I didn't realize he weren't with Ipswich last season, or at least not.
No, he was at Hull City.
Yeah, bagged 8 goals for them, and then before that,
11 in all competition.
Well, and before that, yeah, meteoric rise, isn't it? To go from that,
Harry Kane was at Norwich. He was at Millwall. He was at Leicester City.
Yeah, multiple clubs.
Development. Yeah,
that was development. And read the numbers, bro. Read the numbers.
I don't think he was doing that mad over there.
He wasn't doing nothing.
He wasn't doing anything crazy over there.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying this whole thing gives me Harry Kane vibes because he
gives me Harry Kane vibes in terms of profile. I'm like, if you work on your game like he did, you know.
Yeah, Harry
Kane had a coach, though. He had Pochettino, didn't he? The whole
but also Tim Sherwood's the
Leighton Orient as well.
Tim Sherwood's the one that gave him the opportunity, bro. So you still need a coach that's gonna say, "Yo, I'm gonna play you no matter what you do."
Yeah, I mean, Maldini wanted to sell Harry Kane for 250k.
Yeah, but if you want players that are more suited to the club, then you're more prone to getting a Liam Delap than an Osimhen anyways, because with Osimhen, you need to accommodate the way he plays. In the second phase of the pitch, he's pretty awful, in my opinion anyway. So you get a Liam Delap, he can obviously be more suited to different systems and different types of managers if you want someone to sign for the club rather than obviously the manager, innit?
That's what my main takeaway was from. If we get either of them, I'm happy because it's goals either way. Do you get it? Yeah. But it's like different managers like different strikers. Like me, for instance, I hate a striker in the profile of an Erling or an Osimhen. I don't like that. I like my strikers to be a bit more well-rounded. Even if I'm going to sacrifice some goals, I prefer them to be able to facilitate. I prefer them to be able to hold the ball and be a foil for other players, isn't it? That's what I prefer. Yeah. But some managers
prefer that as well. But I
prefer that kind of striker. Some managers just like strikers that just score goals, and that's why I want
Mbeumo. I was having a conversation with some people that other day.
And Mbeumo's underrated. He's underrated.
Shout out to my guy, here we go. My guy Trade that if he's.
What do you mean, Mbeumo? Here we go, bro. Like, what are you doing?
I think Mbeumo gives me Salah vibes, bro. I like.
He does the basics very well.
He does the basics very well. When we had Greenwood, Martial. Even though Martial got injured in the 2021 season, we scored 74 goals in the league, and that's with Martial being injured from February, right? And in the following season, we get a striker, Ronaldo, who scored 18 goals, and we dropped down to like 56 goals in the league. So the striker thing isn't the be all and end all. Like Rance is right. The striker being able to facilitate is just as important. Like, I think most people would take 15 goals from the striker if they're a good facilitator. As opposed to 24 goals if they can't facilitate.
That's why, but for me,
that's what the argument was we had before we ran.
Yeah, but
if you can give me 15 goals and 10 assists, I'll take that over 20.
Not even 10 assists, because the facilitating don't always result in assists.
I know, but I'm saying 10 assists and the facilitation because, like, for instance, I'm saying 10 assists because that's what Lukaku's got.
What was Martial level like? Martial was 17 goals, 8 assists, something like that.
Yeah.
But the facilitation.
Yeah, Martial was different gravy, bro.
The assist.
Let's hear from Osimhen's agent.
Yeah, where's his agent?
Agent, you're the agent, man. Come on, then. Let's hear from the agent.
Listen, my thing is this though: if you get Cunha and you got Zerski, where's the need for this number 9? Because these two are facilitators in the 9 position. They both can play very comfortable as much as they can do the 10. If you've got these are 2 strikers. If they play the 9 position, that will get you the 10, 15 goals that you want plus assists. So where is this need? Because I feel like when we talk about the front three, I feel like we're missing the number 6 position. And I haven't heard a name yet that I think will come and change the way Man United play in that deep position, those 2 midfielders. Like, because I feel like even with the name or the level of strikers we're being linked with, who's going to sit behind them? It can't be Bruno, man. Are we still here just thinking we're going into next season with Bruno and Ugarte then, man? Because
I think Bruno will still play, though, man. I think Bruno will still play in the 6.
Bro, no, you're wrong, bro. Because I tell you this: if we get a new midfielder, do you know what's going to happen? Ugarte is going to get benched, and that midfielder will play with Bruno. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Again, I agree as well, but I feel like we're gonna end up like wanting in certain games with Bruno. Like, as much as I like Bruno, I've always liked Bruno, but I just feel like even this system of that Amorim plays is not best suited for Bruno.
I did say that, but they don't want to hear it.
He's either 10. Like, he needs that 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. Like, I just don't think
But Musa, it don't matter, bro. It don't matter because he is performing well as a central midfielder. It's as simple. No,
but that's us at 16.
In the long run, he's talking about the long term.
I think he's performing well.
Bro, he needs to understand as well.
I think in a good team, he'll get found out. When you find, like, example, for me, I would prefer you get me Cunha and Cherky, because when we played against Leon, I just saw that as a number 10, he offered so much in terms of how he took care of the ball and how he made himself available in situations to, like, you know what, give me the ball, I'll calm everything down. They're not getting it off me. I feel like that type of player next to someone like Zertsky, who already does that at United, before he got injured, he was being that player where give him the ball, he controls it, he lays it off, he takes it under control. And then you add Cunha to that. I just feel like Bruno will start to become exposed in terms of what he's not good at.
But that's fine though. Like, you want to solve every problem straight away. You can't. I
want to balance though.
But bro,
I want to balance.
After Cunha and Delap, I still want another attacker. And I'm happy to take... One second, Musa. If I'm telling you we can get another attacker after Delap and Cunha, and lock down the attack, and what you're saying is the season after.
I want Cherky or Dibbling as well.
What's the issue?
Yeah, I want Cherky. I want 2. For me, I want 2 10s. Yeah, and I want Zertsky to, because for me, I don't think Zertsky's a bad number 9. I don't think that. I don't think we've seen the best of him in that 9 position. I feel like he's coming under Amorim. Amorim, for some reason, thinks he's better in a 10. But what you lot said, he's a facilitator. He's a number 9 that will facilitate for other players around him, because he will hold on to that ball. He'll bring players in, and he'll open up spaces for players if they're good enough. Not Bruno and Garnacho behind him, who are not going to take up the positions that are needed.
If it's Cunha and someone else.
If it's Cunha and Cherky, he will open up positions for them to run into and to actually get for us to get goals. So I'm not worried about.
You don't want Cunha and Cherky.
Then we've got the young boy that we brought in,
Cherky and with Xerxes. No, bro, you want another attacker. Even
maybe in Mbuemo on the left.
You want another attacker, bro. But my thing is, your Bruno thing, bro, that's you have to, if you solve your attack, you can live with that for a season. And if you get one midfielder in and Ugarte is benched the following summer, that's when you get the other midfielder and he's phased out. Or he leaves, or whatever it is. I don't think you have to stress about that if you're fixing your attack, Musa, is what I'm saying to you, innit? If you're locking down your attack, Bruno's not a problem for a season in midfield.
I agree. I agree. You know, I'm a big critique of Bruno Fernandes and big kind of advocate of parting ways with Bruno, but you have to address the data that you've seen. The data that you've seen from this season. The issue is that our front line doesn't score enough goals as their own responsibility. We can hold Onana accountable that Onana conceded a lot of goals, but if you actually think our defense is solid, we're happy, content with our defense so far. Midfield-wise, we can have a little addition there, but I actually feel like, as contradicting as it sounds, Bruno's not the detrimental factor to eradicate from this team just of yet. I would rather have a striker, a left end, which is actually causing more issues, more of a hindrance to this team because they are not contributing. The only person that was contributing enough in that front line was Xerxes and Ahmad. One of the things where the manager's failing short is not playing Xerxes consistently, and then obviously Ahmad got injured, which hindered our season and wrote our season off. But we need other players to take that burden off from kind of other goal scorers. We shouldn't be in a predicament all the time looking for Harry Maguire to score goals, Lenny Yoro to get a shanky goal like that. It's really our striker. You know, look at Rasmus Højlund's data compared to, I was discussing it with Rance on the Monday show, from some of the other mediocre strikers that people would say in the Premier League, mid-table strikers. Xerxes had most minutes out of 6 different strikers and has scored less than half the goals. You know, it's abysmal, absolutely abysmal. And the team doesn't play to team doesn't play to Rasmus's strengths because he's got none. He doesn't have anything. Soon as Xerxes is on the pitch, how come Man United automatically go into autopilot mode and players start linking with each other? When Ahmad is on the pitch, automatically I'm seeing Bruno and other players. I've seen Anthony, you know, have link up triangles with Ahmad. It's not like the manager's done some mad, you know, magic. It's just profiles complement profiles, and we need those profile of players to complement a Cunha, a Cherky, a Dibbling, those sorts of players, Muebo, those sorts of players contribute and help our existing players. Mino, Ahmad, Bruno, they will help. No,
we got some good technical players in there, man. It's just you know,
talking about the footballers. It's just footballers. You just need footballers.
Bruno has simplified his game quite a lot, and this is coming from someone who's been there to meet Bruno in the car park, you know, with Saeed. He simplified his game. He's not shanking the. I've seen Bruno make acute passes with Xerxes, and that's what I want to see more. Do you know what I'm saying? So we need a striker that can score goals, but also do the new school facilitating as well, and that will help. That will help a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, Danny's point. In Danny's point, I think Danny, you're totally right as well. I'm a big Bruno hater. I think plenty of people know that. But to accommodate Bruno's playing style is like you need a ball carrier next to him. I think in terms of how Bruno plays, especially in the system and where he gets caught out, is when he has his back to goal, but he's really deep in our half. Now, obviously,
that's not even
he doesn't know about scanning.
He's been
obviously,
good back to goal all season.
Look, just listen, bro. Hear me out.
No, he's been behind the ball more than he's been ahead of it, to be honest. He has. For most of the season, he has. He's played more probably in the pivot than in the 10. He has.
Exactly.
And
my point, I think my point is, at the end of the day, he's not the greatest with, obviously, his back to goal. When he's side on and he can see a pass, he can see a run on, that's Bruno's best game. He can't really dribble out of trouble. He likes to play the final pass or the pass before the final pass from wherever he's received that football. Makes sense? As you said, he can do those bounce passes and linking up, but we would rather him try that in the final third. But where Bruno thrives in the system's obviously deeper. If we get someone who's a ball carrier, they can accommodate Bruno. For Bruno,
Bruno can't be the sixth though.
No, I disagree. Again, I don't want a ball carrier.
He can be the player next to him.
Bruno
doesn't have to receive the ball.
We don't need a ball carrier.
You don't have to be the first midfielder to receive.
You know what it is? Man United fans have forgotten you can have 2 midfielders that pass and that can pass, and one's actually a better passer than the other. One's a better playmaker.
You can have 2 passes, yeah. You can have 2 passes, but you need to be able to carry.
Guy who's going to be a long-term signing. You want him to be defensively sound.
That's why Edison's the right guy, man.
You want him to be no, bro. I take.
But Bruno's not the best. Bruno's not the best.
Yeah, but
Bruno's not the best to get the ball from the back.
The defense line, bro.
He's not.
No, I'm not saying he's the best. Put it like this: I don't want a ball carrier. Get me somebody like a Wharton, yeah. Because we're all agreeing we're going to phase Bruno out after a season or 2 from now, right?
Not under this manager.
So you get, I know, but I'm saying the football club. So you get the good footballer midfielder now. You can find an Edison in any window. There's bare of them in France who look like us. Yeah. Bare of them. Yeah. Bare of them. You can find those guys. What we haven't had is a central midfielder that's reliable on the ball, all the things that Texino's asking for, and is just sound defensively in terms of intelligence, positional intelligence. You have to be a destroyer. You have to have legs to run around. Be positionally intelligent. That's what we've not had. Go get that. And once you get that, you can find any type of athletic player you want, ball carrier next to that guy after the fact. I'm not finding a ball carrier for Bruno. I'm finding a ball carrier for actual long-term playmaker. If you get what I'm saying, Tex.
So you want someone to ideally replace like a Matic, Michael Carrick type of thing, someone who
yeah,
can
bro,
yeah.
go get Wharton.
lanes,
Just go
passes,
get Adam
receive
Wharton.
the ball.
Because
Exactly.
think about Ugarte is going to be on the bench.
Wharton's going to be a
You're
big
concerned about legs. I don't even think the legs have that much value, but if you are, you can throw Wharton next to Ugarte. That's a box standard double pivot. That makes sense. Don't forget Ugarte is there. Even
Man should have just got me Sanderberg blood to do the match.
Yeah, I know.
You know what
I don't know who this Lamine Kamara is. I've heard about this Lamine Kamara. Let me hear Marcel.
Yeah.
Marcel, what are you saying, bro? What are you saying in terms of the signings and whatnot?
Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. We've got, first and foremost, when it comes to backing a manager or backing a football club, the most important thing before you buy anyone is getting players out. Said it before last season under Ten Hag, and I'll say it again, and I'll be so happy to keep saying it. It's all about holistic backing, which means outgoings first, and imperatively so before incoming. So there's about 12 footballers I could easily name that should go, with this in this window. I mean, this window is going to be, the most important window in the next 3 years or so. I mean, next season summer is, I think, a World Cup, and the other season is a Europa League. So a Euros. So it's going to be difficult to do business in those two windows. So getting players gone this summer is so important. That type of player, in terms of that Carrick-esque, guarding the last line and being able to be the last line and distribute the ball well, would be someone like Stiller. Wharton can do all kind of types of the game. Edison's got a lot of legs, so it's somebody to complement Bruno, who I think is a world-class footballer in all positions within the central of the pitch. And I think he should be here for many a year, at least for the next 2 or 3 years. I think he's an outstanding footballer, in the 6, in the 8, and in the 10. But when we're coming to look at the game in terms of improving that last line, that forward line, I think especially as he gets a bit older and his legs is not, he's not as quick. You want someone that's a bit more cute in the tight spaces, like a Cherki. You want someone that's like Bruno, but a bit more aggressive and boisterous and a bit more physical, like a Cunha. So that's why naturally Bruno has to take a seat. And normally you get great 10s that, as the game slows down for them, they're happy to, play further back down the pitch. That's just a natural element of football. So that's why Bruno happily goes in the 6 and is world class there for us, and is mature enough to hold the ball back to goal, and keep the ball and retain it. And he gets three defensive players to pass back to. So I think he'll be absolutely happy and secure in the system as a 6 and be world class and in there, and as a captain be able to control tempo next to someone like
the world class in there though.
But Marcel always gets carried away, Man was just.
That's why I was like, I just shook my head.
In all positions as well, bro.
Man just had to let him land, Man just landed in stinging net.
Listen, I'm a Bruno guy. I'm a Bruno guy. And I was like, Marcel, you said world class too many times. I was happy.
See what you said about 10s dropping into the 6. Yes, Paul Scholes, Andrea Pirlo, all these guys, not Bruno. But I hear you. He's not a 6. He'll never be a 6.
Obviously, I strongly, unequivocally disagree with you. But more importantly, the most important thing is that there's at least 12, 10 to 12 footballers that need to go to clear up this space to get, your Osimhen or your Delap, 2 footballers that I think can.
Apparently, though, we don't need to. Massive, super quick work. We don't need sales.
You don't need to, bro. So they were lying, bro. I told people they were lying about the PSR.
Well, people, I would like to see maybe Xerxes more on the 10. I think he's showing a lot of great defensive hustle. I didn't think he had that in him, but he looks like he wants to defend and rest behind the ball now. I didn't think he was. I thought he was
he's adapted his game. He's adapted his game to the system. You can see he's added more aggression to his game. It wasn't there before, and that's brilliant from him. It wasn't there before.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't think I feel like Garnacho is a bit more like, okay, the danger's gone, or my guy's gone past me, then I'll do the chasing. It looks like Xerxes wants to get into the position. Quickly, and the rest behind the football, so he can play in the 10, ball secure. But you need someone that's very, very much self-centered about goals, and goals. That looks like Osimhen. That looks like.
Can I actually?
I feel like
Marcel.
I feel like Manchester United's number 9 has always been, or number 9's player 2.
After seeing Liverpool win this league without this number 9 that we talk about, after seeing, you know, Arsenal put in title challenges without this number 9, seeing City boss a league without this number 9, you need a team and a manager that coaches these players to get into the positions to score the goals. And this is why when we talk about Man United have a lot of goals on, or we have Bruno and he's got the most flipping, he's created the most goals. But when was the last time you remember him creating a goal for someone that they couldn't miss? A lot of these teams get in positions where it's harder to miss than actually score. You know what I'm saying? They're creating clear cut. We're just getting these stats about our players having the most, you know, creative plays.
That's not true. That's not
no,
true.
but we don't see it. But I see it. When I watch the game, I don't remember us getting in these positions where it's harder to miss than to actually score. But you're seeing. Look, for example,
you've just
no, but let me give you an
team and a
example.
coach recruiting well and coaching well.
No, but I'm just. But this has been going on. This has been going on. No, but I'm saying this has been going on since Eric Ten Hag. What I'm saying is this:
the mic's crackling, crazy.
It's cracking, yeah?
It's crackling worse than
Mike is not qualified.
Mike is not qualified, man. You need to get the mic qualified.
Brignani Bandit. Let me see.
I need to say
bro, the mic
calm
is
yourself. Calm yourself. No, I need to say this. When Marcel said we need to have exits in this summer, I very much agree. Let's ask Musa who he would like to have exit this summer, please. Because if I'm not mistaken, I've got evidence where Musa said he wants to sell Amad Diallo this summer.
Yeah, can you speak on that?
This is me being sarcastic because showing you that you're not qualified. This is me being sarcastic. If you believe that, do you know why though? Listen to this. Last season, was it the season before when Garnacho broke onto the scene? Saeed was ready to let Ahmad go.
I didn't say that. When did I ever say I wanted Ahmad gone? I never ever.
You were saying if he has to go. I remember we were having a conversation. The words were, if he had to go, then we wouldn't be against it. We wasn't pushing for it, but I was hearing stuff like.
I know why though. I know why.
Yeah, and I was hearing things. He's not big enough for the league. He's not this and that.
But when he came back from loan, I was willing to let him go, not because I didn't rate him, because I knew Ten Hag weren't going to play him.
Exactly. That was
no, but I listen. I hear the argument as well. But one of the things I'm saying is this:
when we're looking at players who actually had value, we could sell. He was definitely on
no. But one of the things I'm saying is this, though: Man United should stop selling the footballers. Stop selling your footballers. No matter no matter what manager it is, if this manager can't get anything out of a footballer, see, like when people are saying Zertsky, the league's too fast for him. He's not. I'm thinking, stop selling your footballers. Let the footballers bed in, find their positions in the team, and let them play. All of this selling footballers and trying to keep people like Garnacho because they're going to run down the wing and get people off their seats. I'm tired of that.
Yeah.
You know, I can understand what you're
right.
saying.
I think we do. We just need to stockpile footballers, and the rest will take care of itself. I promise you. But I just want footballers. If there's footballers everywhere, we're winning games. I swear.
What I find funny, you know what I find very funny is Musa has the audacity to say, "Oh, I remember when the Biryani Bandits said sell this guy or keep this guy," but you at the time didn't rebuttal. You at the time didn't come out and say, you know what? I don't say that. All right, Mr. Qualified. It's okay, Mr. Qualified. Yeah, let me qualify you today. You and Trap at the time did not come in. Yeah, hide your mic, because last week you were not abroad. You didn't come on the Mandem show.
We warned you about that aubergine in the background.
Today is your day
to get fried. So that aubergine's still there.
We warned you, you know. Karma. At the time, you and Traps did not rebuttal the fact that, someone said, you know what? Yeah, that's incorrect. Ahmad should stay, whatever. Yet you come 3 weeks later, like them only way is that's a gal come out with gossip saying, "Oh, I remember you said this, I remember you said that," with receipts, but your own receipts piling up. You are in the group chat saying free my guy Anthony every other day. Whatever rush, free my guy
Anthony, free the footballers. My thing is this, and I'm going to say this again. Free the footballers. When you're telling me about keeping players that are not footballers, like example, everyone's excited about going and getting Cunha. And I'm going to say this again. Cunha is not name brand. And what do I mean by this? Nobody else is coming in for this guy.
They are. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. There's teams that are after him, bro. Who's after him?
Newcastle.
Musa. This, imagine the day before this was having a conversation. I was saying Ineos don't compete for players, and someone sort of mediated and said, what if the player just wants to join Man United? And I was like, yeah, then you don't have to compete. And that's what you're seeing, Musa. The guy was rubbing Man United's grass from Old Trafford on his legs, bro.
Bro, he
just
wants to come, man.
He just wants to join Man United, Musa.
Mandem, don't get it twisted, yeah. Mandem, don't get it twisted. No, he's a baller. One saying Mandem, don't get it twisted, yeah. If Man City, Chelsea, or anyone of this caliber come in for Cunha and do business like they did for these other players, yeah, he would go.
No,
he would go.
Musa,
like, don't get it twisted.
Multiple factors, bro.
What does that mean?
He wants Man United.
He wants
Man 1 second.
Brother, that's what I heard about that boy Quenda. That's what I heard about Quenda. Saeed was doing flipping videos, watch-alongs about Quenda once Man United. Quenda's coming to his bro. Quenda.
Let's move some.
When I was in Uganda, 3 o'clock in the morning,
he was in the same video. Bro, you were in the live stream talking about Quenda, 7 in the morning in Uganda. What are you talking about?
Yeah, was in the same the news broke. Yeah, the news broke.
Was he not here? You were in Uganda, bro, saying, you know
but
what?
The news broke.
You could have got it.
I'm saying you were doing watch-alongs weeks before, talking about his sign. Listen,
maybe the receipts.
The receipts are there. Listen, months before, Saeed was saying Quenda and Amarin, that's Quenda's boy. He's coming to the club. Quenda, he wants Man United. Next minute, there's breaking news and we're going live.
Chelsea is smarter. What can we do about that? Chelsea.
So what I'm saying to you is this, guy. So what I'm saying to you is this.
Chelsea said, you know what? Keep the player until 2027.
Is anyone hearing 1 minute though? Is anyone hearing doubt that if Chelsea or Man City want Cunha, he's gone? Is anyone hearing doubt about that?
No.
Yeah, me.
You doubt that?
Yeah, I tell you why I doubt it, because it's an irrelevant point, respectfully, bro.
Exactly, bro.
I tell you why it's irrelevant. One, when the Quenda news broke, before they even said it, I knew it's because he wants to be a winger. The news broke, he wants to be a winger. That's why he's staying for a season, why he wants to go to Chelsea. You don't want to be a wing back. So that's unrelated to this. Cunha wants to be a Man United player. Man United have a greater need. All these other teams have players in those positions. It's not a priority for them. It's not 62 million when they're happy with what they have. Whether we rate what they have,
it's a release clause. We're not begging about. Quenda's not a priority. Chelsea don't need wingers.
I'm talking about Arsenal and City. Left wing is not a priority for them. They don't have a great need there. They're happy with what they have there. Man United are desperate in that position, and the player wants Man United. Those are the factors, bro. That is why you're not seeing any competition for the player.
That's not my point. That was my point. My point was Man United are going in for a player that's nailed on, that wants them. We're not pulling nothing, like we're not pulling no trees up and going to get a signing that everybody else wants. I'm just saying we're back.
Why does that matter though? Why does that matter?
Why is that a big issue?
I'm not saying it's crap. I'm not saying it's crap. I'm just trying to let you know that in your set, this is what they do. It's back to basics. We have a group of people here who do what they do, and now you're excited.
I don't think that's true. When we went to those times, Bruno, not everyone was.
Saeed said he's tired of potentials, players that might be something in the future. He wants players that are proven now that can come in and do a job. Then he's got an option to get a proven striker in Osimhen or a potential player in Delap. And he wants to go for Delap.
I want to go. Hold on a minute. You haven't asked me though. Would I take Osimhen in this My United team? I've said to you, yes, I would look at Osimhen. But my question, when I look at the team, when I assess the team and I look at the qualities of what Delap can bring us, I think Delap can bring us more than an Osimhen. Osimhen will provide the goal.
But you said you want proven. You don't want a maybe player.
Hold on a minute. I've said on this stage here. That Delap isn't like a Hoyland. A lot of people have got it twisted, saying that Delap and Hoyland are similar.
Old Trafford is a long day. Listen, keep playing at Old Trafford. It's not easy. There's rats on the pitch. It's heavy there. It's difficult. When he lands at Old Trafford,
hold on a minute. You keep raving about Lukaku. Hold on a minute. You keep raving about Lukaku. Was Lukaku a 1-2 striker? Yes or no?
Yeah, of course he was.
So why did the Old Trafford crowd want him out then?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What did they want them out? I'm just talking about performances where it's undeniable.
No, don't do that. Why did the Old Trafford crowd want him out?
Because
I don't know, a bit of racism. I don't know why. Is he
No. Let me answer that question. Let me answer the question.
That one was a that didn't land. Remove people. Remove yourself. That didn't land. That didn't land because the Old Trafford crowd booed Xerxes, bro. And then now they're singing Xerxes' song. So it's
if Lukaku was European, if Lukaku was European with 1 and 2, he was not getting booed.
He couldn't get into link play well.
Listen, if Lukaku's European with a record of 1 and 2 at Old Trafford, he's not getting booed. What are we talking about?
He was getting booed.
Or South American.
But I was there at Old Trafford when he's touched.
No, but I said if he was European. I said if he was European. Or South American. Yeah, he's not getting booed because we have to look. You can't be booing strikers that's 1 and 2.
I'm not having that. I'm listening to me. You know me. When racism is racism, I will talk about that. But this ain't down to no racism. This ain't down to that.
How Saeed? Let me land my point.
It's because his touch and his overall ability was not great, and he didn't suit what we're trying to do.
Do you want someone that scores goals? Okay, right now, Saeed, do you want someone who will come in? I'm asking you a question. So I'm asking you a question. Do you want a 1 and 2 striker now, or do you want a 1 and 3? Who do you want?
Bro, but I'm not looking at just goals, so that's what you're looking at. I want more than goals. I want someone that
Osimhen's only goals. Let me hear the disrespect. Osimhen's just goals.
The problem, Said. You want all of this link up stuff, man. This linking up for days. No, but you want all of this link up all the time. Nicholas Jackson linking everything, but not finishing, bro.
But fans, their forwards are bums.
What are you talking about?
Their wide players are terrible and aren't productive. I would prefer a Cunha and Delap rather than actually an out-and-out striker, or we get those two guys first, then we get a striker. But in my ideal world, we construct the rest of the team properly. But that's just me doing Football Manager. Where Musa moved the goalposts, and where I'm with him,
he did
move the goalposts, but he picked the right target. The lap is Ineos doing it because the deal is cheap. That's absolutely true. But the Cunha one is not. That's where Musa moved. He moved the target. Hold on a minute. Delap is 30 million because of his. He was talking about Cunha, and I disagreed with him. Then he switched the target to Delap when he was talking about Ineos. And in that regard, Musa is right. If Osimhen was the same price as Delap, they'd buy Osimhen. I'm talking about Ineos, not your preference, Saeed. I'm talking about what Ineos would do. They would definitely buy Osimhen if he was the same price as Delap. Did I freeze?
Listen. My thing is here with Delap.
On Ineos, bro. I'm not about the players and your preference, bro. I'm talking about Ineos. What Musa was saying about Ineos is right when we're talking about Delap. That's all I'm saying.
But the thing is though, when I look at it, I think Amrin also. There's reports out there that Amrin prefers and then Liam Delap over, and I can see why, because when you look at it, it's actually a similar profile to Gyökeres. I think actually Delap has I think it's a bit more powerful in the running in terms of.
Osimhen is. And Osimhen's a pressing demon as well, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. I think. Have you seen this guy, by the way?
I've seen reports saying that Delap's more favoured by Ineos, and that actually Osimhen is actually more favoured by Ruben.
That makes more
sense.
Am
I wrong in saying
I don't know about that one. I've not seen that. one. I mean, that's why we're all here talking on the Mandem talk. But I look at Osimhen.
We're not qualified.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know. My thing is
right. We can't get the quotes right.
We're talking. There's a lot of like what you prefer, what you don't prefer, what you like in a player, what you don't like in a player. Guess what I know? I know the Premier League. The Premier League is an unforgiving league. You could be one of the top players in Europe, and you can come to the Premier League. Yeah, you can be humble. Am I lying? Yes or no?
That's true.
That is true. So when I see that and I see what the Premier League is, and I look at a player who's worked from the lower leagues, the tough lower leagues, has come into a Premier League in a team like Ipswich, and let's be honest, man, bullied some certain centre halves, that we all rate, scored goals, carried Ipswich on his back, and has delivered, for Ipswich. Let's be honest, in his own right. We see his overall ability, ball carrying ability, technical level, in the box. Hold on a minute. We've seen so much from this guy at the age of 22 that we can't just say he's a young, unknown quantity. We can't do that, guys.
But we can say Ineos prefer him because he's 30 million.
But what does that give to the argument? Talk about what the player is rather than what the
Delap is not the best striker to come out of the Championship. He's far by it. He's not the best striker to ever come into the Prem and have a season of scoring 10 goals, and he's the best striker to come out of the Championship. I ain't got no problem with selling Højlund for 30, 25 million and just replacing him with Delap. But Delap should be coming to Man United to sit on the bench and to try to get his position or try to fight for his position in the starting 11. He shouldn't be coming in as our saviour, what Saeed's making him. He's the guy, he's going to score the goals, he can score the goals. No, the problem is this. We went and spent 70 million on Højlund when we should have got a Delap for 30 million, whatever, a player who can do what Delap is doing. But if Delap comes into Man United and scores 10 goals and he plays a few games, he's done well. But all of this, he's leading the line, because he could come and crumble. I don't want to put this pressure on him because it's difficult at Old Trafford. It's not easy. And if he comes in and crumbles and has a bad 12 months, if Delap comes in next season and only scores 5 goals, Saeed's going to abandon this kid.
No, I'm not, because I'm going to look at what's happened in the system. Why would he score goals?
I've had my hand up for about 15 minutes.
Let me ask Musa a quick question. If he scores 10 goals, you're going to say that's a good deal by Ineos, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, listen.
See me.
So 5 more goals in here. Okay.
No, Musa, 1 second. Big up, people. Giddy FC, how are we doing? Okay? Giddy FC, how are we doing? You know what I mean? Giddy FC, Saviour FC. There we go. Saviour, eh? One minute you're a saviour, next minute you're the scapegoat. That's the last 13 years of Man United. Big up everybody. Big up all the kings, you know, just playing, joking. Big up, Bo. I'll say this simple for me. Delap has got some minerals that can cope with the Premier League robustness because we've seen it with our own eyes. The eye test don't lie. You know what I mean? We've seen the robustness about him. But do I think he's the only guy that's going to come into Manchester United? Do you think we're only going to need him? I actually genuinely think this obsession with a striker, football has moved on from this number 9, this mystical number 9 that's going to give us 30 years. This mystical guy is going to give us 40 goals. That, I think, personally, aspects of it, for me, the biggest thing when I look at Manchester United, what am I looking for in this window? What am I looking for? This coach, and in this window, what am I looking for? I'm looking for balance in the team, and I'm looking for structure in the team. I'm looking for balance and structure, and then I'm looking at, can we sustain attacks? Can we create opportunities again and again and again? And I'm looking at people like Umbermo. I know some guy the other day laughed in my face when I said Umbermo. And I'm like, yeah, Umbermo, mate. Beggars can't be choosers. Umbermo, when he gets in that final third, mate, he picks the right pass. He cracks one into the top bins or bottom, you know what I mean, either side. Or he does something to affect the game attacking-wise. You tell me Umbermo or Garnacho, are you fucking kidding me? He was like, but Garnacho is only young. I'm like, listen, I defend the young players more than most, but I beg you, I've run out of my patience is gone. I can't take this anymore. I can't take this decision in coaching him, how to pick the right pass, it's the easiest thing in football. You just showing them a video and you say, if you do that, you're coming up, you're getting sub, mate. I don't know where the accountability on the football. You know, Fergie used to run from the bench, run like he's an old man. I'm talking about in his 60s, 70s. He used to get out there. If you give that fucking ball away, you're coming to sit next to me. I would hear this in the stadium. People would hear it. People, if you sat near where the dugout is, you would hear him telling, you are coming sitting next to me if you do that again. So this idea of accountability on a football pitch, I don't. Do I think Cunha is a good player? Yes. Do I think we need more than Cunha? Yes. I personally believe Manchester United need to bring it in 4 forwards in attacking areas. I'm telling you, this is how I feel. This is how I feel from watching what I've watched this season. On the fucking stadium, watching every fucking touch, everything, and sitting all over the stadium from the top to fucking leg level, to seeing what these players are capable of. At this moment in time, our midfield is not good enough to sustain. Our wing backs are fucking too deep, so we defend with 7. And I see those things. I think the wing backs are as vital as the number 10s. I think the 2 midfielders are vital as the fucking wing backs and the number 10s. I personally believe, I don't know how you see football. We all see football differently. I have never. Everybody talks about Van Nistelrooy being incredible goal scorer. I actually like Sahara and Rooney. I actually like Dwight and then
they were good. They were good together.
Listen to me. I actually like Cantona and Hughes. I actually like Brian McClare and Cantona, or Hughes. Like I always like people who can play with each other, play off each other, and then bring the wingers into play, and that we create chances again and again, and we sustain the movements of the pitch. This idea that you're only going to play with one person and the whole team are going to look at one person and deliver everything. What Blackburn did with Shearer, what other teams have done with their strikers, horrific strikers. I don't like that football because I want my team to be whoever's on the pitch to be getting into the positions to be able to score goals. Now, Saeed laughed at me, yeah? And I'm a believer as well, and this is a hot take for some people. They might be like, oh, no, how can you say that? I'll tell you right for fucking everything. I'll take Nunes right now. If you get Nunes, I'll take him. You know why? He gets into fucking positions. He gets in there to miss. Our strikers don't even get in there to fucking miss. They're not even there. They're not even at the fucking door.
Chill out, bro.
No, I'm sick of you lot, mate. I'm sick of you. Yes, I'll take him now. I'll take him now. And you know what? Rants, you're looking at me. You know about footballers when you coach. You say to them, strikers, take a fucking breath or two. Take a half a breath. Take a half a breath. Take a half.
He's talking about Darwin Nunes from Liverpool.
He's not. You agree with this?
You're concussed, man.
I would take him. Do you know what? He gets into positions all the time. He gets into positions.
You are deluded.
Listen, this is where you are. This is why you don't understand how I see football. You don't understand it. The point
you don't see football. You don't see football.
Listen to me. I'm picking that. Let me finish and then you can come back. I'm picking Darwin Nunes as an example because that's the guy who gets into positions. He just doesn't have that.
Everyone gets into
the
positions.
No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't. Strike half forwards do not. They 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 do not get positions.
Can't we get Osimhen into positions because he's a focal point striker, and then you have 2 10s that are meant to do the creative job to create and facilitate for the work that he does when he gets into the position to finish.
Manchester United
2 10s that like to do the link up that you're saying that is required in the style of football that you like as a football watcher.
So to me, we need more than that. For me, this idea of obsession, getting one guy who's going to back 30, Manchester United are not the football club.
But no one's saying that.
Well, the 2 10s will be scoring as well.
Listen, can I ask you guys a question? In the last 7 to 8 years, how many of you have said, you know what? Everybody in the fucking stadium turned into fucking body language experts. Well, Martial doesn't move. Look at him. He doesn't even get into positions. And now they're fucking grabbing a go at fucking Rasmus. How many of you have repeated the words playing up front for Manchester United? How many of you have hitted that to yourself when you watch games and you've seen it? How many of you? That's the way that Manchester United have been. That's where we've been. Fix everything behind the striker first. Fix everything behind the striker first.
I agree. No one disagree with that. No one disagree with that part.
Ottoman is this. Listen, Ottoman is this. Ottoman for me looks like the last piece in the jigsaw that you get to a team that and a squad and attacking force
that's already fluid. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yes, Ron.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but structure. I don't disagree with anything there, bro. But no one said Delap's going to do that. Number 2, I don't think anybody would be excited if we just heard we're signing Delap. People are actually just excited that one, we're getting Cunha, and he's been added to it. So you're looking at it as a combination.
Yeah.
And that's where I would ask you. But I prefer Osimhen, by the way. I agree with you, but I would like to, because I don't trust the football club structure. I think they should take the opportunity to lock off the attack and put Ahmad right wing back, get another midfielder, Bruno Gatti, another midfielder. We run with that for a season, and in the following summer, you're not spending 100 million on attackers. You're going to fix the rest of the team. That's how I'd like it to go. But I've got a question for you, Structure. You don't think Cunha and Delap would complement each other and work off each other and be on the same wavelength?
Not those two alone. No.
No. I'm just saying those two as attackers. You don't think they do that? They can do that?
No, because I don't see what's behind them that's going to give them the ball, sustain the attacks, so keep sustaining it and giving the ball back.
I'm not saying they're going to do. I'm not talking about that. That's team play. By the way, that requires a better coach. So I don't want to get into that combo either.
No, but that's what I'm talking about. For me,
we're just talking in isolation, bro.
Okay, in isolation.
So if you imagine
in isolation, do I think Cunha can play in the pocket?
I've got a better way to put it to you. Imagine those two in the same situations when we've seen Garnacho and Højlund together in the same area on the football pitch. What do you think when it's those two on the football pitch in the same situations?
I think, personally, both of them can shoot from outside the goal. This is what I've seen. This is only what I've observed. Both of them are more accurate than Rasmus and Garnacho from outside the area. They can both take shots. They can do something magical in terms of that. But the biggest thing for me, obviously, is a young striker, Delap. And I agree with Musa. We shouldn't be putting pressure on him because we always think our saviour and then he turns into the scapegoat.
He's not.
When I see, listen to me. Listen, just what I've observed and what I've scouted in terms of Delap. By the way, I was the first on Saeed TV to say Delap about 5 months ago, saying, "Yo, this guy's got minerals." So I am not a guy who's against him. But what I'm saying to you is, when I look down on the detail of him. Actually, he struggles against low blocks. He struggles unless he comes that side. He's the type of guy, what Saeed saying, why Saeed thinks he's a bit like Gorkayas, is that he wants to run with the ball, actually with more space. And he actually goes into where Amorim likes to play the ball, that like the sides, that where he spins them to the channels and then turns and then come in. But in terms of like when we're banging on doors and stuff like that, he finds really difficult to find space. And he actually wins a lot of headers in the air, but his accuracy is way up. For the amount of headers he wins in the box, he's got the least goals for the most guy who wins the ball in the air.
Osimhen has fantastic accuracy, Nuruddin. Osimhen is good in the box. He's dominant in the box.
No. I'm talking about
give him a Shekri, give him a Cunha, a maverick type player. Give him a Shekri who's tight and who's good in the tight spaces, plays the 1-2s and links up with players, and you create goals for him.
Yeah, listen, I'm saying to you, I actually also think the wing backs are vital. To me personally, let me answer this right. I never said I wanted Amorim. There was 3 other managers that I wanted before Amorim, right? But I see what Amorim's trying to do. If Amorim's going to survive this, and if this rebuild is the proper rebuild, what we're all hoping and praying for next season, because we don't want to be losing 15 fucking games next season, right? If that, what we want is that we want if he's going to stick with his wing backs, we need wingers who can play, who can isolate people. Yes, Aman might be one, but I actually think we need more reinforcement in that area. We need a ball-playing midfield player. We need 2 number 10s if you can get him. You can get rid of Garnacho, maybe buy somebody else. Yes, to me, Delap ain't going to just, and Cunha, for me, they're not the. I need more. I need another.
Everybody wants more, bro. But how do you just feel about those 2 replacing Garnacho and Højlund?
Those 2. Cunha replacing Garnacho.
It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade, man. What are we doing here?
It's an upgrade.
What are we doing here? It's an upgrade.
Listen. Yeah, it's an upgrade. Delap, for me, needs more from the team. He's still 22. He's still learning his trade. Has he got fundamentals, some things that I think are amazing, like at his age? Yes. But do I think we need more than Delap? 100%. 100%. And for me, Osimhen, I would take if Manchester United had the rest of the team ready. Because Osimhen would be the box guy who stays in the box and we get the balls to him, right? I don't see that Manchester United doing that. So I want people who can actually make goals for themselves as well. And the other thing, and the last thing I want to say on this, is Manchester United need somebody forwards, even when they're playing crap, at least contribute to the team. That their levels are actually their levels of contribution. It is still to a standard, even though if they're not on form, even though they're not scoring.
You want 7 out of 10s?
Yeah. You need a solid baseline, bro. Like for me, like that's where obviously the system in itself is the biggest point we have to see an improvement from. Like we need a system where everyone together is working in one way. We're unison in one way. You get me? We don't want to see that player thriving, but then the rest of them are not thriving. That's the reason why we're in this mess half of the time.
Yeah, that's because of the manager.
system.
Yeah,
manager,
but
exactly the
Saeed,
manager. But
Saeed,
yeah,
Saeed,
go on.
we literally argued this, for nearly 40 minutes, I told you if Thomas Frank had these players, you're talking about how many goals Mbuemo and Visa are scoring. I'm telling you, the system and the structure of Brentford creates chances for these players, bro. The way we're playing, with 3 attackers out of 11 is the reason why we're not scoring. People can say, that it's down to lack of quality and all of this bollocks, Yes, it is to a certain degree. But you know how you override the lack of quality? You keep creating chances until it's impossible to not score them. That's what you do. We don't create enough chances, and it's not because we don't have enough quality to create these chances. It's because the system doesn't facilitate chance creation, bro. Most teams in the league play a 3-2-5 in build-up. If we go through all of these teams' front fives and you look at our front five and see that's got Dallo and Dorgu in it, and then 2 guys, and then Bruno and Garnacho and Højlund, how many fucking goals are you scoring with that front five? When you compare our front five to Arsenal's front five, or City's front five, or Liverpool's front five, because man are all using the same dead system to build up. Everyone's building up in this 3-2-5. Our front five is by far the deadest, bro, and we don't have 5 attackers.
Easy.
All these other teams got 5 attackers in their front five. We got 3. Do you know what I mean? And one of them's a midfielder. And you wonder why we're not scoring, bro. Just by tweaking the setup, we create more chances, bro. It's not just a quality thing. We don't create enough chances that we're saying, like, it was harder to miss that chance, bro. Bare times we're seeing ball over the top, Garnacho runs 40 yards, gasses himself out, then hits it at the goalkeeper. But where are the tap-ins?
But then also,
you know what's actually really funny? So Amarin defenders, they do this tweet where they show Nottingham Forest are mid-table with Man United for chances created, but Forest have an insane conversion rate.
Yeah,
but they don't have the critical thinking skills to understand that's not sustainable, and that's an outlier, right? They're an outlier. Are all the other teams around Man United and Forest converting chances at that rate? No. Are City converting chances at the rate of Forest? No. Forest are clear. So they're just doing something exceptionally well this season.
They
actually don't create a top level amount of chances. Those are the facts. They're just converting them at that rate. And you've got Man United fans, to Rance's point, saying, yeah, bro, in this 3-4-3, you should be converting them at Forest's rate. It's like, rude boy, that's not sustainable, what they're doing. And by the way, why would you want that for Man United? What you want for Man United is what City have. We're number 1 for chance creation and number 1 for scoring goals. What you want was Arsenal have. We're number 2 in the league for chance creation. We're number 2 for... That's what you want it to match up.
You want control.
You want it to match up consistently. You don't want this to be, we're mid-table for chances and we're converting. That's not sustainable. That's not a blueprint for nothing.
Just to counteract the argument here, and honestly, I'll let the Mandem come in now. There is an element of, though, we need that individualism. You know what I mean? And Mbuemo and Wisa, these guys...
You didn't want to under Oli.
Hold on a minute. They're getting coached, yeah? But that end bit
you didn't want to under Oli.
From the attackers, though, yes or no?
You didn't want to under Oli.
Sorry?
You didn't want to under
Oli. You didn't want to under Oli side, remember? Individual, brilliant. It was individual, brilliant.
Yeah, you didn't want to under Oli. Why do you want it now?
Forward and looking back, what's going on here, man?
No.
I've noticed you lot. When it suits your argument, you don't want to go back to the. I'm just giving you a point here.
No, Saeed.
One second. We have to go back, Saeed. You look like you're lost. So you
I'm not lost.
You went in the wrong route. You need to go back. You need to go back and get on the right lane and get in the right route.
Bro, can I land?
You're driving. You crashed already. You crashed already, mate. You crashed already.
Let me land my point. I'm not saying it has to be your whole entire system, which I think Ollie, a lot of it was freestyle football.
We know that.
So my point is, yeah, we've got our system, we've got our structure, but it still has to be a moment of brilliance and quality from the player, yes or no?
I don't think Saeed, of course, bro. But
that's what I'm saying. We don't have that for me right now.
The reason why structure's telling you to go back is because if you're consistent, you'd still want it. You always would have wanted individual brilliance.
I've never said that. You don't have to have that.
Wait. But you'd be sticking it on this coach for the other side of things, and you're not. That's the point, bro.
What do you mean? Because I see that there's a lack of quality in the final third, and that's why
you also know
I'm saying I'm really out.
There is a lack of quality in the final third.
That's why I'm consistent in my argument.
Sorry, let me tell you something that's true in football. You know the coaches that are elite are attacking. You see it in their teams, no matter what teams they have. You see it when they're making their name, and they're at a mid-table football club, a championship football club, wherever they are, whatever club they take over, you'll see that they're a good attacking coach. You don't see that.
They're popping it about.
I agree. I agree.
Sometimes you just need the platform.
You don't see it with Amorim. You don't.
No, 100%. We've not seen it.
All I see though is the unicorn thing is true, and he will be relying on individual brilliance in a way that manager that you did not rate was, bro. He needs his wing back. That's why I want Ahmad back at wing back, because I realized, he needs a wing back that can do it himself.
Yeah, that can pick up the ball, take players on. Yeah.
And Ahmad is actually, for me, when I look at the wing backs that we got, the left-sided wing back has to be much more technically better than the right-sided wing back. And I've seen that with Dorgu going to the right the other day, being able to put a lot more crosses in by being able to cut in. When you're on the left side, with the way the game's going now, you have to be very measured with your left foot. Like you need to know what you're doing. And I think Dorgu has struggled with being able to put balls in from the left side without being able to cut in and being able to kind of measure the game. I feel like, for me, I would have put Ahmad there because I feel like Ahmad is more measured in that sense than Dorgu. And I feel like you need someone that is very technical on that left side, because you've seen Dorgu struggle and then you put him on the right and you see that he has more chances now of cutting in and actually putting crosses in. And Dorgu didn't look half as bad with his last ball as he did on the left.
Yeah,
he did. Ahmad, when you look at Ahmad is technically better than Dorgu. So even if Ahmad struggles, if anyone's going to actually be able to get it and make it his own position, it's going to be Ahmad. Because we've seen what he's done and what his capabilities is.
It's not really about... If you're left-footed, you have to be a lot more clever, to get down the outside, innit? You have to. You can't just rely on Bruin to get down the outside. You have to be. You have to do little cute give and goes and stuff like that. And literally, if you're just super one-footed, you can just cut in and just slap the ball to the back post, right? It don't take. It doesn't take a lot of disguise.
So it's not. I feel like it's not it's the wrong thing to say that one side needs to be better than the other. It's the invertedness.
No,
the system,
I'm just saying the players that we have
allows for two inverted players that are needed. It's the way that it's just that the way that the system allows inverted players to come, and then there's a player at the back post. There's three players trying to attack because it's the system and the shape.
It's easy. So Marcel, it's because
that's why I was saying before last week about how Dorgu looks like he can play right wing back, left wing back, and left centre back, because you can see attributes that he brings when he plays any sides of the way. He
will struggle more playing left wing back.
You didn't have to bring up left centre back, but the point is, Marcel, it's easier when you can just cut inside.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And Dorgu will struggle.
No, but Rants and Musa are right. When you play on the stronger side, you need to be better. And that's why these I don't rate these wingers today compared to wingers from the past. They can't go down the outside. That's why they're inverted. That is why they're inverted.
What Amas was able to do it, I think, and I think he was able to utilize the early cross as well.
I played the Wolves team that wasn't pressing. Wolves is not the team you want to do.
That's because Amas is a better footballer.
Been looking like an unconfident player, a lack of confidence.
Wolves were on holiday. Come on, listen. I like what Amas did.
Connecting passes, but we saw in glimpses at the very beginning, Musa, that he was able to, bully players, especially from deep, and make runs.
Was that not Amas's best game that you've seen? Is that not the best game you've seen Amas in?
I think
I
think he's a better
but he's had good spells.
There's a reason for that though, because Wolves, they got nothing to play for. That was a nothing to play for game, Like the amount of space, they weren't really even pressing players in that game. There was a lot of space in that game, and that's not to say that. That's not to say that the young boy didn't do well, but I'm just saying against an Aston Villa or Newcastle, he would have drowned. He would have drowned. It's peak for us. You need to be very clever on that side, and the only left-footed player that's left in the club that I can see that can be very clever on that side is Ahmad. Who else can you see in the club that can be that clever? What you need on the left?
Oh, you mean on the left?
Who's the other guy, Musa? Who's the other guy? Tell us.
Anthony, but he's not here. My boy Anthony.
Bro, let it go, man. Let it go, man. Let it go, man.
I think we need reinforcement.
Go on, then, Marcel. Go on, Marcel.
We have to give the players time. He's 20. Dorgu's 20 years of age. You know,
True.
he's so young, so he's learning, you know, how to attack and approach the attack and the
In these
1v1s.
positions,
Let him land, let him land.
We got no time in these positions, though. I agree with you. I like Dorgu. But you see in those wing back positions, yeah, if you want Amrin to keep his job, we can't play a back 7 and back 5.
Yep.
We don't have time for all of that. If you want this manager to keep his job, he doesn't have the time in the wing back positions to be telling 19, 20-year-olds, yeah, you've got time, try a thing. He needs to go and get a replacement. If Ahmad is playing on the right side, he better hurry up and go and get a replacement for Dorgu.
It's not even a replacement. It's more to do with the backing, like I was speaking about before. We all know Dorgu wasn't Amarim's first choice. So he's gone and got in a profile that looks like it has the potential to be something and become a type of player. Ahmad, we've all been saying, and I've been saying, Ahmad's the best right wing back in the world in this system. So it's about profiles and the ability of players at a certain point.
A man can't be your first choice if they don't want to play for you.
No, but the point is though, the first choice.
My brother just bagged a mad goal the other day in the Champions League, bro, against Aston Villa. Bad boy goal, and they play with both of them on the defensive, on the offside.
I think he was a top signing.
With the wing backs back there, bro.
Yeah, what I mean by first choice is the type of ability of the player, the stature of the player, and the level of in which that player is currently.
Yeah, but
you see what I saw my man do the other day?
And the market rants couldn't dictate, and the market rants couldn't dictate that he gets that caliber of player. That's his first choice. That caliber.
We could have got him if he wanted to play for us, bro.
Wait, who was his first choice?
Then he couldn't get that, and
you're saying Nuno Mendes was his first choice
because of the predicament we was in with brands, we ended up and we couldn't afford a certain caliber of player.
We could afford Nuno Mendes. Nuno Mendes didn't want to play for us, bro. He signed a new deal. It's not that
exactly.
He was using this for a new deal.
He used that name for it, bro. That wasn't even real.
Again,
that wasn't even real.
Forget the name rants. I'm talking about that level of, like, for example,
there aren't really in world football. They're not players the level of Nuno Mendes just knocking about.
I'm about to mention someone if you let me finish. So at Bournemouth, you have the left wing back. That guy, I can't mention his name, but that level of price, we could, at that moment in time. At that moment, let me just finish, please. At that moment of time, we wouldn't have been able to afford it. So we've gone for a second choice, Rants. It's really simple.
That's not true.
At a lesser, more affordable fee with a lesser piece of quality and potential side improved. A much higher potential upside. And that's just a simple fact.
They didn't want to prioritize. They didn't want to prioritize more money for that position because they've got the money for Cunha now. Ornstein has said so.
That's it.
So yeah, they just want to prioritize.
I think it was a.
Here's the thing, though.
Here's
the thing, though. Yeah, here's what Marcel doesn't realize, bro. You've made a worse case for Dorgu. You don't even realize you just done that. You've made that look like we got something that was surplus to requirements because we couldn't get what we needed, and then you don't understand why Musa's saying what he's saying. You need to make it make sense.
No, I think it's a club signing. I
said to you last week that this looks like a very good squad player, and in fact, Danny, this football game that we speak of is a squad game. So again, it's like you missed everything I tried to educate you on last week. It's a squad game.
I don't think I did. You know what I think happened?
Especially in this system, is meant to be multifunctional.
They can
play
in the right
One
second, so
and in the left centre back position.
This is where he just looks stupid now.
He's very versatile. The first game that he played. Just let me finish, and then you can rebuttal. Please, just let me finish, and then you can rebuttal. Then you can hear everything and be able to respond fully. So then his first game, right wing back, he played. This game, he's playing left wing back. Like I said to you, he can play left-sided centre back. It's a squad game. Not every single, even Kobe's going to have this predicament where if we get two world-class 10s or two 10s that upgrade the position, don't expect Kobe to play every single week. He's going to have to get the here we go minutes. He's going to have to improve his game in the 6, in the 10s.
Until a new manager comes in and slaps in the 4-3-3 and everything goes back to normal.
Under no certain terms, have I suggested that hold on a second, Musa, and then you can go. Under no certain terms, have I suggested that Dorgu surplus to requirements? That makes no sense.
Brother, 4-3-3 Dorgu left back, and we're back in business. You know that.
So we're back.
We can't change it.
Talking about a player and the defenses, we couldn't get our first choice target. You're inferring the quality of the player you got is not up to the right standard. So you did, Marcel. Even if you didn't mean to, you don't realize you contradicted yourself. But you're
No, I
talking to me
didn't.
about educating me on a squad game. If you actually if you knew what you were talking about, you would have realized that's exactly what Musa was saying. But you didn't realize that what he was talking about. Why is he talking about Ahmad playing at left wing back? It's because he's thinking about what do we need to do to improve this team and have people in the right positions. It's a squad game, right? So yeah, Ahmad at left wing back is an option. You missed that point, Marcel. You're not educating nobody or nothing, bro. You ain't brought nothing.
Nah, he said he wants a replacement. He said he needs replacement there. He said
No,
he
that's
needs
not what he
replacement.
said.
They had no
better
time.
on the right.
He did.
Listen, guys, I didn't break it down.
I said
Dorgu plays better.
And that you need time. That's what you said, Musa.
I said
Guys,
Dorgu plays better. I said Dorgu plays better on the right, just
Let's
because
play on
you don't have to be
guys,
that
man.
gifted. You don't have to be that gifted to be on the right compared to on the left. So I said, if you want Ahmad to play on the right, you're gonna have to go and get a new player. It just can't be Dorgu.
Or
We're gonna have to go and get a player.
When you look at the goal, it's very, very
feeds into
simple.
my point that I'm saying that players need to be versatile. So I haven't missed no point, Danny. Again,
No. Guys, when you look at the dot, it's pretty simple. It was a market opportunity. It was 24 million. United seized it. And for me, it was an in-your signing, to be honest with you. I don't really necessarily...
He's a Terrell Malacia. At this point, side, he's a Terrell Malacia. Don't be surprised if Dorgu gets sold.
It could be. But the thing is, bro, it won't necessarily hurt us in financially. Because he's on low wages. He's on low wages. We can still really get our money back and a little bit more if we want.
Saeed.
He's still developing as a
Saeed.
I've been
You're
saying
talking about
Nuruddin.
individual brilliance. We know we need them from 4 positions. Do you see Dorgu doing that from left wing back, the individual brilliance, bro? Do you see that?
I think it's hard to tell right now because he's still not shown enough, and our team is quite broken anyway in terms of our style.
That's
and
what makes it unfair. That's what makes it.
That's what makes it unfair with the guy, man. We haven't seen
everything Structure said about Delap. Everything Structure said about Delap applies to Dorgu. And Delap is more.
Not really. That's disrespectful.
Not really. I think.
You're
Imagine Andy Robertson at Liverpool.
So it's a hard time for Delap. Who's actually proving himself, but it's not for Dorgu. Okay.
Give me a second. Imagine someone like Andy Robertson playing wing back for Liverpool. It just doesn't suit because he doesn't have that individual brilliance to take on his man or change up his game, etc., etc.
Yeah, he's an engine, brother.
As a fullback engine, brother. Especially when he gets space, he was more of a volume player, just throw crosses into the box. Yes. Look how many assists the man got. So
11.
And just even going back to that Liverpool squad, and we speak about rebuilding. This whole conversation has been based on rebuilding. Their squad, if you look at the players that they were signing, the Wijnaldums of this world, the Fabinhos of this world, the Mo Salahs, the Manes, putting Firmino as a false 9. No one ever thought that they were going to go and, be in 2 Champions League finals, win 1 Champions League, go and challenge City, 5 years in a row for the Prem and go and win one. And we talk about 7 out of 10 players as well and individual brilliance. Look how many 7 out of 10 players they had and who had moments of individual brilliance. Again, your Manes, your Firminos, Salahs, Trents, all of these types of players. So we need to stop looking for particular players who are going to come and do a hero job and come rescue United, bro. We need players who can come play for the manager, fit in a perfect system. As Nuruddin was saying earlier, sustain attacks. That's the most important thing, especially as a United fan. You see me growing up as a United fan, all I knew was attack. And it weren't necessarily about playing the best football. The best football I saw growing up was Wenger's football in the Premier League. So it weren't about playing the best football. It's about being the most powerful. How can you impact the football and sustain attacks, bro? How can we control the game in that sort of narrative? So, yeah, man.
It's the mentality, Tex, bro. Your facts, because, bro, you know what it is? Look at the way we overwhelmed Leon, to win that game, bro. And yes, they did have a man missing, but you know what the difference was? Mentally, we just literally threw caution to the wind, bro. This manager is a cautious, negative manager. I've said it already. 7 defenders, bro, out of 11, bro. Brother, if you switch 2 of them defenders, for attackers, and then you go from, instead of having 7 defenders, you have 5 defenders, 5 attackers. It's more balanced, bro. If you want to be even more of a madman, take one of them defensive midfielders out, put another attacker in there, then you got 6 attackers, you score goals, bro. It's that simple, bro. The mentality of this club here is not to concede, yet we're conceding more than we're scoring, bro. There's a problem.
But runs,
big problem.
That's that by its nature. If you know the football models in Portugal, it's slightly. Jose Mourinho is this man's.
He is Jose. He's Jose, blood, without the individual brilliance.
Yeah, this man looks up to Jose. He's his like mentor. And if you know about the Portuguese model, you know the Portuguese model. It's about playing sometimes without the ball, not dominating the ball. I don't know any coaches that come out of Portugal. For example, Spiritos is the guy. That's the Portuguese model.
Yeah,
like what this guy's doing at Wall.
Attack. Yeah.
Yes, that is the Portuguese model.
But this the thing. This is why I disagree with Texino. If you notice, this conversation is just naturally flown to managers, because that's where it comes from. Everybody has seen what Enrique's just done in the Champions League. I've been talking about Enrique from when Oli left. That's who we needed to get. You go look at all of those players, minus João Neves and Kvaratskhelia, you didn't see that they had those qualities to be that aggressive and have that intensity. It came from him. Yes. That's why I disagree with you, Texino.
But again, I didn't mention anything to do with manager.
Unless you want to do a Leipzig thing and just get natural athletes that are aggressive, Leipzig don't play the football we want at Man United. Yeah?
But my point accommodates yours, because I haven't mentioned the manager, Danny. I haven't mentioned the manager.
I know you haven't, but we have naturally, because we know that's where it comes from.
What types of players do you want at this club? You want club signings, don't you?
You know, we've already spoken about
the manager to structure that, bro, because Klopp is the one who structured that, whether we liked it or not.
So you agree with me, bro? Ultimately, you're going to end up speaking about the coach, not just the players. Because it comes from everything you spoke about came from Klopp.
Klopp signings were club signings. They were
club signings. He's going to go get from Barcelona. He's waiting.
He's going to go get 3 midfielders that are workhorses. Ronaldo was technical, but he was a workhorse too. He was
a workhorse as well.
That weren't the guy at Newcastle.
Wijnaldum wasn't even a midfielder at Newcastle.
Yeah, but where did it come from?
It was a 10, to be fair.
The coach had to have
the manager
who
done that, bro. If Klopp didn't sign Wijnaldum at Liverpool, Wijnaldum would have been playing up front or false 9 or on the left.
I've always said though that
we can't be. I understand why people want to sign players for the club, but ideally, again, it still has to be suited to the manager, bro, because he constructed this. He's the
you always have to do that.
We move forward with defenders at wing back. He's not gonna. We're not gonna see no results. That's the whole point. That's what we
said. We need to buy two fullbacks, 2 wing backs. We have to buy 2 wing backs.
Bro,
you need to buy wingers, natural attacking wingers as the wing back.
Yeah,
that's what we need to buy. We need to buy wingers who we compare and say you're gonna have to defend part of the game. But your first thing as attackers is to get me goals. Can you isolate? Can you carry the ball? Can you hold on to the ball? And that's why at times, despite we take the mick out of Musa, we say he's not qualified. But when Anthony and Ahmad were on that side, Manchester United sustained attacks. Because Anthony could hold the ball and Ahmad could roam around him.
Noureddin, I would say even before that, everyone here remembers, how we played under Van Gaal, This brother had Matteo Darmian, overlapping, bro. Matteo Darmian, bro. And this, bro, when I'm telling you, most of the time our wingbacks don't get in ahead of the ball, and that's coaching, bro. I don't care what anyone says, because before we get attacking, attacking wingers, exactly. Before we get attacking wingers, you can still position our fullbacks higher up the pitch, bro. There's no excuse. Like, there's no reason why Dalot shouldn't be on the offside trap and stretching the pitch. He should be out wide and he should be right up there, bro. He's receiving the ball deep, bro. Like, it's instruction. When you talk about profile, he's not coaching these men to take risks. He's not doing it.
And that's why the reason why I'm saying wingers as a solution is because of how Amrin is coaching. The situation he puts them in is the skill set that a winger has, not flipping fullbacks or wing backs. If you look at Inter Milan, a lot of overloads for the Mario and for Dumfries. Rance just touched on Dalot should be high up the pitch all the time. Who does that remind you of? Alonso and who? Frimpong. Frimpong is literally stays in the final third. That's a tactical solution.
He's sometimes the furthest guy forward.
That is coaching.
He's sometimes Frimpong is the striker.
That's the manager saying, I need my wing back to play like a right winger and be the outlet. So there's other things I'm considering tactically to make sure that happens. So the way Almiron coaches is not as aggressive, but he puts his fullbacks or his wing backs in situations that require the skill set of wingers.
But what's worrying,
so that's why you have to buy wingers. And if you don't buy wingers, you're not going to get what you want.
It's
listen,
true.
what's
It reminds me of what Conte done with Moses, Victor Moses.
Yo, listen, what is worrying for me is that, listen, you're losing games. We're getting smashed, right? Most people we're getting beaten, yeah? I think we conceded 20 times we conceded the first goal. So if he's been defensive now and we're still losing, what happens when he goes attacking?
No, but there will be an evolution to his style, man. Let's look. Come on.
We win games. We win games.
The style's not evolving. The style's not
It
evolving.
will evolve.
The best form of defense.
I don't think the style will evolve. The style will be the same,
then happens
but
to
the
be
quality
attack.
will improve. That's all.
Mandem,
The only thing that's giving me,
We want consistency, though. We want consistency, right?
the only thing that's
Consistency
giving me,
and then-
listen,
and then
the only
even
thing
this
that's
narrative.
giving me anything, listen, Marcel, the only thing that's giving me anything, I do think when we came up against Man City, obviously City that had a horrendous season, massive drop off. To me, that, by the way, that's the story of the fucking Premier League because nobody saw that coming. That is the story of this season. It's the dramatic drop off by City, right? That's the story, right? But against City and Liverpool away, I personally thought that Liverpool away was one of the best. That was, to me, the best Bruno Fernandes performance ever. Because he actually held the ball. He put his body in forward. He bought fouls. He carried the ball. We actually attacked them. We should have won. We won at City. I think that the Arsenal was a different type of game where we low blocked a little bit and we were counter-attacking. But yeah, but we hustled to get the win. So for me, the only things that give me a bit of hope is that I'm hoping next season that he can actually understand what needs to be done against all these other teams. Because boy, 15 games lost. Regardless what you know me, I'm on Ineos, and I think he's not to blame. I think some of it is to blame, but the biggest blame lies with Ineos and the fact that they didn't back him in January. But I'm telling you, next season, the pressure that's going to be on that guy. I just want to repeat for the people, yeah, because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, the people in the stadium are backing him. No, there's a section of fans in the stadium that back him, who sing a lot, right? Who sing a lot. But a lot of people are just like, I can see already, like, it's not even the season's over, and they're like, is this guy the right guy? Because the losses at home are brutal.
His biggest problem is going to be in the wing back positions. That if he doesn't double up on the wing backs, yeah, the problem is once one of them get injured, he goes back to a back five again. And every time he goes back to a back five, Man United will not get anywhere. And that's the problem.
And you know what?
To not only have one set of wing backs.
And Musa, do you remember that? Musa, do you remember that when I ran here? I went to the game, and I ran here, and I said to guys, we're playing 5 at the back. We're too deep. And certain people were like, that's not shouldn't be the problem. I'm like, no. I'm like, we're fundamentally too deep. And I want people like Crystal Palace. Listen,
yeah, but if they don't buy those profiles, he's finished. If they don't buy him,
I want people like Crystal Palace.
I believe they will do that because
listen, I want people like Crystal Palace.
Think about what he had at Sporting, Musa. He's had that kind of culture and that mentality of wingers at wing back. The predicament that he comes into is he's got left backs and defensive-minded first players. Dalot, I've been saying Dalot needs to get sold ages ago. Oh, he's a right-sided centre-back.
But that's his
left
point.
back.
That's what
Hold on, Nerden. At left back, he's got Luke Shaw, Musa. He's got Luke Shaw. He's got Amas, who's mainly left back, but you can maybe coach him into something. And he's got Dorgu, by the way, Musa, who is meant to be a winger first. He's meant to have attacking prowess. He's young. He's still developing. So for me, Musa, as long as they get, and that's why I say to you, Musa, that Ahmad's the best right wing back in the world because he's got that attacking mindset to go up the pitch more. It's about the profiles and the characteristics of players, Musa. Once you get those players in, you'll see a change.
There's no way Dorgu could have been a winner.
Listen, Musa, that's another red flag for me, yeah, is that this manager came in and he said it's easier to coach, it's harder to coach wingers how to defend, so we're going with fullbacks.
That's bullshit.
Yeah? Wait, that's his quote. And then in the window, he goes, they bring him a Dorgu. Yeah? So I worry now, Musa, if they don't realize not getting wingers in those positions is going to be his downfall.
It's going to be big time. I don't see it.
But remember what you said, Danny. It's harder to coach wingers how to defend. It's also harder to teach defenders how to score goals.
Exactly.
And that's the problem.
Which one do you want?
Yeah, but that's why.
How many players do you think we're getting this summer? How many players do you think we're getting this summer?
Would you say
we're counter-attacking football side? And
no,
at the end of the day,
he wasn't trying to play counter-attacking though. He wasn't though.
Well, he's always been. He said to us, another quote from him rants is that he said to us, "Look, I want to be. I can't do defensive football here, but you have to have a base somewhere. You have to start from somewhere." So he started. Look, and the predicament of the squad rants. Hold on, Musa. The predicament of the squad rants means that you have more defensive players at your disposal anyway when you first start.
Yeah, but this is one of the problems.
And then hold on, Rance, and then he brings on Dorgu, who's meant to be naturally more offensive than defensive.
But this is one of the biggest problems, Marcel.
Which explained, Rance, as to why that hasn't
but this is what a problem is, Marcel. One of the problems is this: this manager came in and we were 4 points off fourth, and we're meant to believe that he knew about Man United and he knew about the type of players we had. He came into a team that had a fit Ahmad, a fit Kobe Mainu, and a fit Zertsky. And he started doing Tinkerman every other game, starting different players. Like he couldn't identify before he came in, just from what he knew about the club, based on the people that based on his whole team, people that were, finding information on the type of players that we had. He didn't even know. We said it from the minute he changed the system. Every single one of us said Kobe's a 10. How long did it take this manager to understand that Kobe was a 10 to get Kobe's first, player of the match this season? 6 months, score a goal and to assist. We knew that from the beginning. When he came in, Kobe was fit, Ahmad was fit, Zertsky was fit. These are footballers that he could have had at the top end of the pitch. But you know what he went for? He went for Hoyland. He went for Garnacho. These are the type of players that he went for. So the manager himself, the biggest problem we have with the manager is that as bad as the players have been, he hasn't helped. We're talking about managers who come in. Let me just give an example. We're talking about managers who come in when players are bad, but they help. You end up seeing managers do certain things and you're like, you know what? We won that game because of the manager today. We played like that today because of the manager, because these players are bad. But he's come in and he's made a Hoyland who got 16 goals last season. How many goals has Hoyland got so far this season? If Hoyland was bad this season, why has he got worse? Hoyland got the same amount of goals in the league last season as Delap, who we're holding up. And I'm not saying Delap ain't better than him. I'm not saying Delap's not better, but we're just talking about Hoyland himself. As far as Hoyland's concerned, he can score 10 goals in the league because he's done it again. What's happened this season with Amarin making players worse off than they were last season? Like there ain't no one doing better in this system.
I don't think the worse are off than last season. Hold on a minute.
You mentioned Ahmad. He discovered Ahmad as a right wing back. He discovered Ahmad as a right wing back, and that's
he didn't. Ahmad's not a right wing back. If you think Ahmad's a right wing back, you must have plot. Ahmad is a 10.
Musa.
No, that's wrong.
No, you guys are missing the point. He
discovered Ahmad as a right wing back in the system, and he looked very good in that system. Zerksy was we were all saying here. I think it was that. It was only Rance that was really backing Zerksy at the beginning.
I backed Zerksy.
Danny was saying, hold on, let me just finish, Nerden, and let me explain it. Danny was saying that he might potentially. Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. So Danny was explaining that he might look a little bit off the pace for the league. That was the narrative around at the very few first games, and the way that he turns out and his movement, it might be a little bit slow for the league. So he discovered him as a 10. He really
didn't discover him.
Marcel, he never discovered this play. He didn't want to play him. We got bare injuries. He got rid of Rashford and Anthony, and he was forced to play this youth. Yeah, he told us he's not a striker. Now he's playing Maguire up front. You know them ones. Like, bro, listen. Don't get banged by Amarin. He didn't discover Zerksy as a 10. He didn't. Bro, listen. I promise you. Yeah, I promise you.
Discovered him as a 10 because he could have easily kept playing him as a 9.
Discover someone as a 10 that's not a 10. Zerksky's not a 10.
Zerksy in the 10 and Zerksy in the 9 is the same player. He plays the same, like.
Disagree.
The difference is now he's actually playing more minutes.
And then the last player, Kobe Musa. Hold on, let me finish. The last player, Kobe Musa.
What I can't hear you.
Hold on, let me finish. The last player that you talk about, Musa, Kobe, is somebody that is always trying to develop. He's had a few injury situations and is coming back from that. So you can't really blame Amorim for the lack of form and the get going and not going.
That's not what he's
doing. The momentum.
It's called confidence. It's called confidence. Amorim does not put confidence into his players. If he would play Kobe,
hold on, because we're just talking of each other. You can see Ahmad, right wing back. There's a clear way to play him and utilize him in the system. Xerxes is a clear way to play him and utilize him.
Do you think Ahmad's a right wing back? Do you think Ahmad's a right wing back?
You're not listening to me.
You've not been listening to me.
Put it that way, bro.
You have not been listening to me. We're talking about the manager's judgment. Marcel's repeated it several times. He discovered him at right wing back. Then what judgment did he display after he discovered him at right wing back? I'm going to move him from that.
He played him into a 10.
Yeah. So, and it was obvious. That's the bit where someone like me who didn't actually want him to be the right wing back was like, Ruboy, he has to go back there. It's pretty obvious. And he didn't do it because of poor judgment. That is what Musa is talking about. The manager doesn't profile players. He doesn't profile players well. It's pretty obvious.
And Marcel, you're captain as well, bro. His first game in the 10, bro. He got taken off in half hour, bro.
Dallo is clearly a favourite.
Who's that player? Who's that player?
Danny, tell them, Danny.
Clearly.
Portuguese.
Let me hear the point first.
But Saeed, I want to get back to something, bro.
I can't even hear the point, man. You're not shouting, yo.
Saeed, I want to get back to something. What you need to watch out for Amorim now.
Saeed, mute your mic, man. We're taking over,
bro. It's half stepping.
I can't hear the point, bro.
Bro, 1 sec, bro. Dorgu is what I call half stepping.
Yeah.
You know you shouldn't have a fullback there, and you know you should have a winger there. So you try to cheat and find those qualities in Dorgu. Yeah, it's called half stepping. And if you see that in this window and he don't get a winger or he doesn't play Ahmad next season at right wing back, we'll come back to the tape. We will come back to the tape.
You got to remember. Hold on a minute. There's not a lot of sample size, a lot of sample players to choose from, right? We have to understand that the quality of this squad is we're bare thin in terms of quality. So he has adjusted it at the start, but we can clearly see now he's kind of almost learned his lessons now in a sense. Don't get me wrong, he's took him a while, but he has learned his lessons now, and he has started to.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't
learned his lessons.
We have seen now. Hold on a minute. Can you let me land, Yachty? Hurry up, bro. Listen, relax. Well, come on. See you later. About relax.
Bro, how many games?
Man's abusing his power.
How many games? I'm surprised Rance hasn't brought this up. You haven't brought this up, Rance, yeah?
The same guys that you haven't seen. They're out of position.
He got injured.
Yes, thank you.
How many
Thank you, Danny. That's the point I want to make, Danny. Let me make the point. Listen, I want to make this point quickly. Before the international break, Xerxes is showing us the plethora of ways. We look like finally maybe Amorim is getting something. Xerxes is dropping into the halfway line, pointing where he wants the ball. He's picking balls up. He's bringing people into play. International break happens. We don't fucking see him. Instead, we're left on fucking Bambi on ice up front. He keeps benching him. And I'm like, why? Why are you leaving me with 2 fucking Bambi on ice? 2 Bambis on ice. So for me, the way he disrespects Xerxes is unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. And I'm telling you, I swear, this club has abused me mentally so much that I am cheering for goals in the Europa League. I hate the fucking Europa League. I detest it. And you know the only hope that was giving me? The only footballer.
You don't hate it that much because you go to the games.
Listen to me. The only footballer in this squad. The only footballer in this squad.
By the way,
guys, the only footballer in this squad. The only footballer in this squad worth me paying money to watch. The rest of them are bums.
When I went Spurs away, let me make
the point again, bro, because you lost the point. Before Xerxes got injured, he was dropping him. when he was
I agree.
outperforming Garnacho and Højlund.
I agree with
the
that.
injuries is a distraction and excuse from sample sizes when certain players are not injured. Yeah. And he's showing bad judgment. And that sequence of games was off. Xerxes should have started the game before. He got the sequence completely wrong. People know I backed Højlund when he first came. Should have been dropped ages ago. Ages ago.
And he got that injury. He got that injury in his first start in weeks, blood, because he was coming off the bench.
Yeah, exactly.
Brother, when I went to Spurs away,
remember Danny, Ten Hag dropped him. Remember Ten Hag towards the end of last season, Ten Hag dropped Højlund.
He wasn't playing in the final.
Yes, he came on. So the point I want to make
because he found a solution with McTominay.
Yeah. So let me just say this, please. Right? Let me just make this clear. I'm sorry for shouting, but let me just make this because I'm gonna forget. Right? It's ADHD, people. It is what it is. Take it or leave it. Right? I say it and I say it simply. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Before the international break, Xerxes was the only person I was going to Old Trafford to watch. I'm telling you, because I could see things like he's holding the ball. That when the ball goes forward, at least the ball was being sustained up the pitch. Then we can move. The back five, the wing backs, he's asking them to go up the pitch and bringing everybody into play. And all of a sudden, Xerxes gets dropped. And you know what somebody said to me in the stadium? Lord, maybe he's doing this because he's tried to get like forwards and strikers. He knows what Xerxes can do now. And I'm like, bro, that is levels of mental gymnastics to go. Listen, I'm telling you, I actually do not blame. I don't blame Amorim. Like I said, listen to me. I'm against Rance, I'm against Danny, and I'm against majority of people who want Amorim out. Because I'm like, I want to see the sample size, and I want to see when he's got players that fits his profile, what he does, right? Some of you are saying, listen, it's not. And actually, some of the data supports your argument. But I'm saying to you is that he was brought in a time, in a very difficult, and the club took two vital players away from him and brought him to 18-year-old and a 20-year-old to go and do something. So I'm giving him the grace. I'm extending grace because that's who I am, right? But I promise you, I beg you to go and watch the games before the international break. International break comes, all of a sudden we don't see Xerxes. And you know what? Even in the press conference, some of the journalists were absolutely bemused. They kept asking him, "What's happening with Xerxes? How come Xerxes is not starting? How come Xerxes is not playing? You were doing what?" And you know what? What he kept saying. We need to rotate. You know what I mean? Some of the players. There was
a lot of games. Yeah, he was saying
a lot of games, and we need to rotate players.
And Højlund started most of the time with barely any rotation.
Fact. And Danny, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't know how any of you have played football. Yeah, even the Saturday Sunday league, the lowest bottom of football in this country, competitive football. If you play too many games, you're gonna start falling about because you're fatigued. You slip, your balance goes. And I'm not covering for him, but I go back to what I think Rance or Danny or maybe Musa, what somebody said. I promise you, my eyes don't lie to me, and my experience of watching football that gut instinct that I have shows me at certain time in this, Amorim is gone. For F this club, I'm just gonna do what I want to do, and you know what? I'm gonna make these players even worse than they are. The worst thing they are. At times I'm watching him, Danny. I swear to God, I'm like, he can worse than they are. This is the worst version of Garnacho, worst version of Rasmus Højlund, worst version. I'm the only one that escaped that in the last 3 months.
Oh my God! How is it the worst version of these?
I'll tell you why. You know what structured? You know when it started? It was the
you know what you lot are trying to do now. You're trying to blame. Hold on a minute. You lot are trying to blame everything on the manager. You know?
No, I'm
not.
No, you're not, man. You are trying to gas up these players here and blame it on the manager. It's not right. Hold on a minute. No, I'm not doing that because I'm not having the worst version. Garnacho, there's never been a best version. There's never been a best version of Højlund anyway.
It's not true.
What do you mean it's not true?
Every player.
Are you
gonna hold on a minute? Are you gonna look at goals in the system and be like, oh yeah, you know what?
No, bro. Every player has their forms. They have it when they have the game. Come on, bro.
You sang the song. You sang the song. You sang the song.
Bro, they've not been good. So what we're saying about
Saeed, we're not saying
You
we're
were
not saying
there.
Amarin,
You saw
we're
him
not
sing the
blaming
song,
everything,
fans.
bro.
My
But
God,
you know what it is?
He
There's
told me,
certain
Saeed told me
bro,
to
Saeed,
apparently I had an agenda against Garnacho. I remember Saeed saying that.
there are
I'm
different
not
parts
saying
of
that.
this.
What I'm trying to say is,
No,
we still
bro,
can't gas them up to this level of they've
you're
worsened.
missing the point. You're
with
missing
the
the
manager.
point, bro. There's different points in the season where injury's not an excuse and players are available.
I'm not saying injury is not excuse.
And we're looking at his decision making. I'll give you an example, right? Garnacho played too many games before he got dropped. You saw a little bit of an upturn after he got dropped, and he should have got dropped again and played too many games. With Højlund, it started after the Arsenal game. Yeah, he should have been dropped for that match, but he played. Then he started. Then he just kept starting in sequences about 6, 7, 8 games in a row, bro. And when you weighed it up versus Xerxes, that's before Xerxes even caught form. If you weighed up the starts, you're like, hold on a second, this kid's drowning, and he's starting again. Bad performance, terrible for Højlund. He's starting again. Terrible performance. He's starting again. Terrible. On and on, bro. We're talking a sequence of like out of 15 matches, the kid has started like 11.
Facts.
11
now,
in a row.
He can't stay balanced and he can't stay on his feet. Every game I watch him now, Danny, 10 times he's eating grass.
No, I get that structure. My thing is, any manager worth his salt just drops the player. You just drop him. It's simple as that. When someone's suffering, you drop them when they're not playing. Don't play them to death. It's not rocket science.
You don't
and
play
this
them
is
to
before
death.
injuries, bro.
What's absurd? What's absurd with Amorim is he saw how bad the mistake was from Onana, and then he said, "Oh, I've given him a week off." And he said, "Oh, he's had some issues with family and stuff like that." And then, funnily enough, it was such a coincidence. It's the same week where he had an abysmal performance, whatever it might be. But he's given him a week off. But he doesn't do that when it comes to Rasmus or Garnacho, and that's what's killing both of the players and the fan base as well, because we're sick and tired of seeing the same combinations again and again. And
Mas, add your
the only
player to
way
that.
to know
Add
if this
Diego
is going to be
to that list
changed
as well.
Yeah.
only way we know if this is going to change is if Ahmad
Diego
and
to that list as well, your boy. Add that to that list as well.
no, you can't add him to the list.
What
You cannot
the
add him to the
hell?
list. No, you cannot add him to the list. You got no
Plays
one else to
every
do his.
fucking
You got
second.
no one else to do the job. You got no one else to do the job. Yeah,
No,
Doesn't mean you
Stop
have to be upgraded.
Stop blaming him.
Dalot's played himself back into form. Dalot has played himself back into
We
form.
don't gas up this form now. Then later on, you're going to be like,
I'm
yo,
not gonna
You
gas
don't
it
have
up,
any
bro.
leg
It's
to
not
stand
that.
on. You can't stand up for long anyway. You don't have no leg to stand on. Yeah, Saeed, you allow it. You gassed up so many players, and now you're doing gymnastics yourself. We've seen the gymnastics. Don't be doing this. No.
Don't allow form to cloud your judgment. That's what I'm
No
saying
one's
to you.
doing that, bro. I
What
brought it
don't allow
up. I
form.
mentioned the form, bro.
Was
I
clouded
brought it
by-
up. It's not clouding
What
my
cloud was
judgment.
over you when you
One
was
step,
gassing up
Faz. One
Garnacho?
step, Faz. All I was going to say to Faz is he's played himself back into form, but again, there was a period where this guy's played 10, 12 games in a row, wouldn't even get a one little break. That's what we're talking about here.
You didn't have no one else.
That's what we're talking about here. Stuff like that, bro. That's it. That's what we're talking
Yeah, I
about.
know, but I would have loved. I said it myself. I would have loved for
You know
Dalot to
what
get
it is,
benched.
though, for me, though,
But he
Faz.
didn't have no one. He
No,
didn't have
my
no
thing
one.
is
Faz,
if you're
he
gonna
did,
sit-
bro.
He goes on to the.
Faz, there was
My
a
thing is this,
period.
though, if you're
There
gonna
was a
sit-
period when Ahmad was fit, Dalot could have got dropped. He didn't get dropped, and Dogu was
Faz.
there.
It was a
My
side.
problem is
There was
this.
a
One
period
of
of
the
Passport,
main-
mate. Passport.
That I will hit.
Obrigado.
That I will hit, yes.
Obrigado.
But one of
Separate-
the main problems with Amrin as well, if you're going to sit 16th in the league with Man United, then you should have just gave more youngsters a run out. If you were comfortable not
Yeah,
doing this
I agree
thing
with that.
and comfortable not winning games and just accepting that it's going to get worse before it gets better, then just the players you have not that have no future for you at this club, drop them from now. Don't waste time with them, because if you're comfortable to say, because look, realistically, from the last 10 games of this season, we're not winning another game, or we're not expected to win another game.
I
Even the
agree.
last
Europa League or nothing, bro.
Listen, Musa, I
That's
want to
the
hear
same. So
from
look,
Leon.
so
Leon's
my
been
thing
here
is
for
this.
ages.
If-
I want to hear
so
from
my
Leon,
thing
man. I
is-
want to hear from Leon.
Yeah. My bad, Leon. Spin these lot are just taking over the mic, man.
It's good.
Where
It's
is
good.
Leon?
Musa, can you hear me, though?
Yeah.
Musa, carry on, man. Finish your point, because it's a good point.
No,
Me
I'm
and
just saying
Flawless-
that when
me
I
and
look at
Flawless
the
talk about this a
position,
lot.
yeah, when I look at the position we're in the league and the lack of time he's given to some of the youngsters that can play fullback and play in positions that we're seeing players struggling, I think to myself, what's going on here? Because if we're not going to win these games, let's try to start to bed in some of these players who might have a future at Man United, especially some of the younger players, because like what we did against Wolves, I'm not seeing anything happening for us. I've looked at the last 5 games. We're not winning in any of them games. We're done for. So I don't need to see the same players run out week in, week out. It's done. We're finished.
I used to say this when Ten Hag was here, because I used to say all this, wow, if I haven't got my profiles, if you haven't got your squad yet, then play the kids from the youth who are the right profile.
Facts.
And there's no excuses. At the end of the day, yeah, let's take the point we was talking about then about Dallo. Let's be real, yeah. I know Faz, said no one could play that position, but you could put Johnny Evans at centre-back and Euro as a right wing-back, and this season he would have done better than Dallo a lot of times. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
You're not qualified to say that. Not qualified.
Why am I not qualified?
We're not qualified.
Oh, is that why I say we're not qualified?
That's his say. That's his
Okay.
say.
He's not qualified, man. That's why Chaps is not here today. He's not qualified, man.
Not qualified.
Yeah. I think for me, like I said to you, we win the Europa League and we go again next season. You know what I'm saying?
Saeed, you're winning the Europa League. It's like that. We're gonna
What's
win the
your
Europa
11?
League.
What's your 11 for that Europa League?
Yeah?
Let me hear this
Are we gonna
11.
do that?
What's your 11?
Spurs have more of a chance than us. Spurs.
To be honest with you, there's not a lot to choose from right now.
I'm sorry, Rance, and I'm sorry to say that, Rance.
No, what's this 11 though,
you're in the
Saeed? What's this
house of
11
the household
that your manager's going to bet us with? What's this 11?
Spurs have more of a chance of
I think
winning
it's
that
more
Europa League
the
than Manchester
front
United.
three that needs to change, really.
Yeah, but what's this 11? What's the 11 that we're going to win the Europa League with? What's this 11? Let me hear
What's
it.
the 11 that's got us here unbeaten?
No, just tell me this 11. It's
The
your manager.
11
Tell
that's
me.
got us here that's been unbeaten in European League is going to be the 11 that probably
So
starts.
Hoyland and Garnacho up front, yeah?
It's probably that's what the manager's going to use. I wouldn't
No, but
necessarily use them.
what are you using? If you get a chance to win us this Europa League, what's Saeed using?
You know
Who's the
what?
front three you're picking?
People don't going to like this, but I'd probably play Bruno false 9.
Yeah, I understand that.
And then I'd play Manu in the 10.
Yeah.
And then I'd play Casemiro or Garte in there as well. I'd play the back five is pretty much the same, to be honest with you.
I'll play Amat instead of.
I wouldn't play Hoyland.
Tax the lot.
I would not play Hoyland. I would drop Hoyland because Hoyland. I would play. You know what I'd do actually? I play Cheeto up front.
Yeah.
I play
Because for me,
Cheeto.
Hoyland and Garnacho, I swap them every single day for Manu and Eriksen. I just want footballers. I don't care what happens, what doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Every single day game, before I put flipping Hoyland and Garnacho,
I don't want to see Hoyland.
for Eriksen and Manu.
Hoyland.
What about Cheeto, man? I'd rather play Cheeto.
Cheeto can't play in Europa League.
Cheeto can't even play. My bad then. Cheeto can't even play. It's not even European. That is a howler. That is an absolute howler from the club. But I don't see no benefit to Hoyland playing. Like generally, I'd rather play Maguire up top. That's how bad it is at the minute. But for me, I just look at the squad. I'm like, listen, it's got us here. The manager's got to find solutions. You know, you said I'm not qualified.
Bruno in a false 9 was an option, though. Bruno is a false 9 was an option because he scores goals.
Qualified.
Can we just agree, please? I just want something to be agreed. From the last game, we got beat. That actually the wing backs put Pauls into the box because they weren't Diego fucking Delap. Can we just agree with that? That actually both Amas and on the right hand side, Dogu put balls into the box that were dangerous.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
With that?
I agree.
With that? So that's who I will have as the wing backs in the semi-final because that's what I would want. You can't just expect like just to do what we did against Leon in the last 5 minutes. Go and win the game. Go and take the game to them and play people who got to put balls into the box. Diego Delap can't buy a cross because he's never there. He gets nosebleed as soon as he goes past the halfway line. Don't give me any of that crap, Vas. Regardless how 5%, 10% you're getting, right?
Right.
What percentage are you getting? Because you keep saying you don't like the Europa, but you keep turning up to the games.
When I look at these four teams in the semi-final, obviously Bodo Glimt have got two of their best players injured. They're both out of the game, right? I looked the other night. I didn't watch the Spurs game, but I looked at their bench and I looked at who started. I'm like, boy, in terms of like, even if the game's going mad, to make 5 substitutions, they've got more in terms of where they are healthy. I'd rather be where Spurs are in terms of having Zerkzee instead of having, Martinez, instead of having Ahmad, all these guys fit. I think we would have a chance with those players than have the chance with what we've got right now. So, and you know what? You look at the bookies. Bookies are no fools. Manchester United are third favourites to me. It's Spurs, it's Atletico Bilbao, it's Manchester United, then Bodo. So this idea that the club have convinced you somehow, have done some sort of magic and said, United, it's every sentence, we're going to win the Europa League. Yeah, we're going to win Europe. No. And the whole season, especially the last 5-6 games, has been a waste. And when I said to you to get out, you have to win it now. And all of that against Lyon meant fuck all if they don't go and win it now.
Yeah.
But the only thing that gives me hope is that in a game like this, like Casemiro can could have refused to be beaten. Casemiro can just do what he did in that last 10-15 minutes ago. I'm not getting knocked out by Lyon with 10 men at Old Trafford. It's not happening. And then he just takes calls. He just takes over. And then does what he does. And then we somehow end up winning. Other than that, I don't see it, guys.
Let me get these super chats in quickly. Realistically, it won't happen, but Bruno has to go. We need a ball carrier to offset the defense. Marcel, world class. He gives away the ball too much. Danny, all that ball knowledge, and you are pro Bruno. Musa having a Garnacho performance. Delap would have been a 20-goal super sub on the third game. Sorry, but I'm not excited about this signing. He is a British Chicharito.
Chicharito was fantastic.
Respect Chicharito now. Big up to Troy Tracy. We'll need a good cross of the ball with the Osimhen. Rants, your opinion is incorrect because we owed that Premier League goals and been in debt for the 3 seasons in a row. So the lack of goals clearly ain't the system. I agree. Also, Danny Jacob, Saeed. But bar Jose, all these Portuguese managers are bums. Big up anyone. Someone else goes, against Lyon, we played balls over the top into space and went 2-0 up. As soon as we went into possession, they leveled and took the lead. There's no courage within this coach to say aggressive. Big up the panel. Big up to Parusa. So basically, we need a player like Frank Pog or DiMarco. Wingbacks are responsible for all the width in the system. We need a wingback who can dribble and cross. Knowledge that the best football Garnacho ever played is the role of Jamie Tart in Ted Lasso. That is crazy. Man like Leon always enjoying the show, smiling and driving. Why is this man always going? Listen, Leon's a busy guy, man. Leon is on the road, people. On the road, man. So big up to Leon.
All I know, people, is... Wait, when you finish that, I'll say something. Go on.
No, go for it. You know what, Leon? You need your YouTube channel, Driving with Leon. I'll watch that all day, bro.
Yeah, driving.
You know what? All I know is United have done their head in this week. It's Eubank Ben fight week, and that's all I'm excited about this week.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it at Wembley? Is that at Wembley?
No, Tottenham.
Tottenham
Stadium.
Don't sleep on the undercard as well. Don't sleep on the undercard. Trust me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Leon, quickly, who have you got? Leon, who have you got in the fight?
I'm gonna go Eubank.
No, Eubank.
I'm gonna go Eubank.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Listen,
crazy, Leon.
People. We got 1K likes, 2.6K in the building still, man. Let's get these likes up to at least 1.5K likes, people, man. Let's get these likes up. They should be very, very much higher than this. It's been a lit show. You get me? Big up to Marcel in the building. Marcel, make sure you follow Marcel on his channels. Big up Texino. Follow him on TikTok. Texino. You know the ones there. Come on. Man's got his setup and that. He's chilling. You know the ones there. Big up to Texino.
Said I'm upgrading, bro. You can't be inviting me weekly, bro, and I'm not upgrade, bro.
Come on, nah. Love that, man. Love that. That's what it's about, man. So make sure you check out Texino. Big up United Real Therapy as well. Big up to Nuruddin on his channel as well.
Nah, man, he's a fraud. Nuruddin's a fraud, man. Says he don't like Europa, but he goes to Europa games.
Always open up the kind of worms right at the end.
Yeah, right at the end, right at the end.
No, listen. You know why? Do you know why, Baz? Because my friend works away, and I've got to take.
There's always a friend.
Games. I've got to take my godson to games. I've got to take my godson. Listen, I've got to take people to the game and make sure they get home all right. You see what I'm doing? You know what other people used to do for me when I was his age? Is make sure that I'm all right in the stadium, outside the stadium.
Real community, man.
All of that. You know what? And you know, Baz, you wouldn't know anything about that. Instead, you're on YouTube cooking absolute shite like Diego Dalot.
Wow.
The whole time.
Wow. And on that note,
he's upset. He's upset because I didn't bring him no food. I need to bring him some food.
Get that biryani, mate. Now I get that Bengali biryani right now.
Yo, people.
What, you know what?
On the way out.
Somali biryani versus Bengali biryani. Let's go to war.
You'll never win. You'll never win.
Are you kidding me?
No.
You'll never win.
Somali rights.
Stick to Angera. Stick to Angera. You'll never win.
Wow,
you're not qualified. You're not qualified.
Listen, going live, guys. Faz is going live. Redirected to Faz. You know what I'm saying to you?
Slept on rice in the world is Somali rice, bro. I'm telling
you.
Yeah.
Slept on for a reason.
You know, Faz, can I say something to you, bro?
No, you can't. You cannot. You live on Uber Eats.
Yeah,
You
yo,
yourself cannot say anything.
Faz.
End the show.
Faz. Shush.